forward, finds Carter Lowe through the neutral zone. Lowe waits, takes the shot, kicks aside, rebound, scores! Cole Bodwin!
Well, it's the most famous 2 words in hockey, Game 7, and that's exactly what we have here tonight to solve the Eastern Conference Final. The Bobby Orr Trophy will be presented at the end of the game, and we'll see, will it be the Barrie Colts or the Brantford Bulldogs? I'm your host, Mike Poirier, joined alongside Gene Pereira and Josh McCann, also here in attendance. And Gene, the Barrie Colts, they were down 3-1 in this best-of-7 series, back-to-back games in overtime, 4-3 victories, and now a chance to come back and maybe a trip to the OHL Final for the first time since 2013.
Yeah, and they did it without their captain and leader, Cole Bodwin. And, you know, again, you found a way, right? I mean, the important thing was just win the next game, and it's the same thing here tonight. The Colts found a way in those 2 overtime wins, and another tough task here, but they've had success in this building, and that's got to give them a little confidence heading into this Game 7.
Well, that's just it. This Brantford Bulldogs team, one of the best in the OHL when it comes to their home ice record, but the Barrie Colts in this playoffs, they've won 2 out of the 3 games here, and even game number 1, they were down 3-1 in that third period and still managed to come back before falling just short. So it seems as though this Barrie Colts team quite comfortable playing here at the Madhouse.
Well, again, you know, Brantford, you look at it, they've carried the play, you know, for most of these, the 2 games, 3 games in Barrie. For the most part, and Barrie finds a way last game. I thought the third period was much better. They started to push a bit, and then they get the overtime winner. You know, Brantford, for them, they've had some golden opportunities to end this series. I think that's at least 3 open nets, including the last game when Van Ecker hit the post, and then they had that late power play. But again, for the Colts, just find a way. Look, I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty. Nobody's going to remember about that. All they're going to remember is if you get the W here tonight in this one.
Now, the big story going into game number 6 was the status of Cole Bodwin, and we found out that he was on the roster sheet for warm-ups, did not take part. He was in a suit and joined the coaching staff as an assistant, and we're going to get that again here tonight in the coach's corner in a few minutes. Dylan Smoskowitz actually talks about how good of an assistant coach Cole Bodwin is, but still, that's a tough player to lose. He's leading the league in points. But the Colts seem to find a way to rally.
Yeah, you know, look, I mean, on the day off there when Bodwin realized he wasn't going to play, and, you know, the team went over there, and it's been like that for this season. You know, you talk about a close room, and I know it's cliche, but, you know, you really get the sense with these guys. And, again, you know, I think it's an inspiration to have them on the bench. I think it'd be hard to keep them away from there, to be honest with you. You know, again, you know, it's the reason why he wears the C, and, you know, there's a lot of reasons here. I mean, you know, Jade Newton, Ben Rebick, you know, I mean, really this whole team, but, you know, just outstanding. And, you know, Newton, I mean, 3 goals in the last 2 games. There's just a heart and soul guy, a character guy that shows up. He'll do it any way he can and figures, hey, now I got to provide some offense, so I'll do that.
So we want to thank Richard for the super chat at $10. He says, we can be sure of one thing. Someone's taking that trophy today. And one team that's keeping a close watch on this is the Kitchener Rangers. They've been resting since winning that series in 5. We know that if the Colts win tonight, Game 1 of the OHL Final is in Kitchener Wednesday. So a very quick turnaround. And if Brantford wins, then it's a OHL Final starting here on Wednesday. So both these teams, obviously, they want to put it all on the line. But, man, what a quick turnaround.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how you feel about that. I get it. You got to go out to the Memorial Cup, but I think you could have held it on Thursday night and give them a little bit of a breather here. But, you know, look, it's the way the schedule is working out. But I think for Kitchener, they're hoping this thing goes into quadruple overtime. And, yeah, you know, that's what they're hoping for, you know, regardless of who wins. But, you know, again, I mean, this is what it is. Barrie's found a way to get here to Game 7. Brantford didn't want to be here. Obviously, they had an opportunity to kind of close this out, this series. But now you got to figure that the pressure is more on Brantford than Barrie here, in the sense that you're on home ice. You've lost, you know, 2 straight. You haven't lost 3 all season. And it's a big challenge for the Colts, but I'm sure it's one when you look back to that Game 5, before Game 5, if you told them that you're going to be here tonight at the start of this one, they would have taken it. and they went out and earned it.
Well, the last time the Brantford Bulldogs lost 3 in a row, you have to go back to the second round of the 2025 OHL playoffs, where the Oshawa Generals came back to win that series in 6 games. So we're going to take a moment to check in with Dylan Smoskowitz in our Coach's Corner, presented by Mariposa School of Skating. Catching up with head coach Dylan Smoskowitz. Winner go home game here tonight, game number 7. Are you pretty excited for this one with what's on the line here tonight?
Honestly, like, it's kind of just a rinse and repeat for us. Like, it's been game 7 for the whole week, so the excitement kind of died when it's the third one of the week. It's just another game for these guys, and I'm sure the players are excited, but more importantly, they're ready. They're mentally ready, they're physically ready, and it should be a good battle tonight.
And you had a different look on the bench in game number 6. Cole Baudouin suiting up, not on the ice, but helping out as an assistant coach. Talk a bit about his style there on the bench, and are we seeing him again here tonight?
Cole Baudouin's going to have a long playing career. But I'm telling you, when that guy's done and it's all said and done, he's made millions of dollars and he's might be a Hall of Famer, who knows, he is going to make one hell of a coach. I mean, that guy's got a great eye for the game. He was not scared to jump right in there and give me some advice and kind of let me know who was going or what trends to look for, or maybe he noticed something going on in the game that I missed. Cole Baudouin's a big help, and looking forward to having him help me out tonight.
So basically same lineup as game number 6. Teague Vader, though, getting that extra skater during the warm-up. You got to be pretty confident with these guys, how they've really dragged out those last 2 wins in overtime. It's the depth guys also contributing, especially a guy like Jaden Newton, 2 goals, almost a hat trick in the other game. Yeah,
Newt has been fantastic. I mean, the thing is, like, he's been fantastic all year. It hasn't shown on the score sheet, but in fairness, we haven't used him in those spots. We don't rely on JD to be a goal scorer or a point producer, so to speak, but my God, is he a great team guy? Is he a great grinder? Is he reliable defensively, good on face-offs? The goals are a bonus, and again, just as a player, you always want to get rewarded, so I'm very, very proud and very happy to see JD getting rewarded.
And Eamon Edgar, another player, getting 2 points, an assist on the OT winner as well. It was quite exciting seeing him out there, just rolling the lines and seeing that he's contributing in those tough moments.
It's huge. I mean, it's huge for right now. Don't get me wrong. It's huge for the present and, to help our team get us to Game 7 here. But you just think about the future, and you think about how cool that guy is going to be when he's 18 and 19 years old, and he's got these big-time playoff games and overtime shifts and overtime winners in his back pocket. He's been there, done that. It's a real good sign for this organization going forward to get a guy like Eamon Edgar, the young guys, Joe Salandra, Nick Desiderio, Joan McCormick, Cole Emerton, all these guys kind of in that 16, 17-year-old crop getting these big-time moments that, eventually the moments don't seem so big for them. So it's great for right now, because we believe they can do the job as is tonight, but it's even better for the future.
So focusing on tonight, more of the same for these guys. Continue with the forecheck, continue to get the pucks in deep. I know it's a cliche, but that seems to be working for you guys.
It's all the stuff that the Barrie Colts have been doing all year long. We are not a team that sits back. We're not a team that lets anyone else set the pace. We're going to set the pace and force you to keep up with us. But more importantly, it's about sticking together. And then if there's one thing I'm absolutely sure of, because I don't know how any game's going to go ever, but if I'm absolutely sure of one thing, it's that these guys will never turn their backs on each other. It's a tight-knit group, it's a brotherhood, and that's what's going to power us through tonight.
So that was Dylan Smoskowitz in the Mariposa School of Skating Coach's Corner, and he mentioned that for this Barrie Colts team, they're going to continue to play their style, and it's been paying off these last couple of games. That forecheck, it's been relentless, and they're trying to be opportunistic, because we didn't see as many shots in these last couple of games. Brantford heavily out shooting the Barrie Colts, but they're finding ways to get that transition game. Maybe they could use some more sustained pressure, but what they're doing right now, it's been working these last 2 games. Yeah,
look, I mean, I think they were much better in the third period. In that last game in Barrie, they created offense, and certainly you'll want to see that through the first 2 periods, but it's a good Brantford club, and you're missing one of your top centers. And, the important thing is you stay close, right? I mean, Brantford has opened the scoring in every game of this series. And, I keep saying it over and over, you want a good start here, especially with the crowd. They're ready to pump it up here. Brantford's going to come out pumped up. But I think for the Colts, again, it's really a focus. Keep things tight, keep defensively. You have to rely on Ben Reddick to make some big stops. But again, keep yourself in it, you give yourselves a chance. And that's what they've been doing here these last couple of games, and they've come out on top.
So it's going to be a Game 7 to decide the Eastern Conference Final. I already noticed the chat has been alive and well. I believe it was Brennan earlier saying that the Colts are a team of destiny. Mike Fallis is saying the Colts need to have a miracle. Shout out to Josh from the TCC in Oshawa. And for Daniel saying these boys don't need rest. They're on fire right now. And he said it right there. They don't give up. The Colts score. So it's quite the passionate fan base and chat support, but this is going to be an entertaining game, and it's a winner take all, and it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan, look, it's nerve-wracking for them, for everyone, but this is what you live for, right? It's playoff time, you got Game 7, everything on the line, a berth in the OHL Championship, and both these teams, they've given it their all. They went in to make a run this season, and they've got here to Game 7, and it's the old thing. We're going to see who comes out on top, but what a run here. It's been through the playoffs, for both of these teams, and to get here to this point, just sit back and enjoy it. It's going to be a fun ride.
And I think they've increased the volume here in the arena as the floor is actually shaking and vibrating, but we'll see how this all plays out. It's the Madhouse on Market, the hottest ticket right now in the Ontario Hockey League, as it's a jam-packed facility, and we can't wait to have the radio broadcast for you here from the TD Civic Center, as it's been a treat of a series to follow, and goaltending has been a huge factor. Both Ryerson Leanders and Ben Horevic, they've had to make some outstanding saves, more so Horevic in these last couple of games. He has been amazing in the crease to keep the Barrie Colts in these hockey games and giving them a chance to force this Game 7.
Well, they're going to have to be both really good here tonight, no doubt. What can you say about Ben Horevic? I mean, he's done this all year, and a little bit under the radar, when you look at the top goalies, wasn't included that. And I think he's sending a message here tonight. He's sending a message out to everyone that, hey, look what I can do, and as well as the scouts. But first and foremost, I mean, I think he wants to do it for him and his teammates, and he's looking for another big one here tonight. If it's anything like last night, wow, that's all I can say.
Well, where they have us located in the broadcast location, we have a ton of scouts up here from the National Hockey League. So if Ben Horevic's going to get noticed, I think tonight may be the night to go to show what he's capable of. But also to note for the Barrie Colts, I think we talked about on the broadcast, how many minutes will Kayshawn Aitchison log now that this is, do-or-die situations? And we felt like he never left the ice in the third period in game number 6.
Very little.
Yeah.
Very little, and I think we'll see him a ton out here again. I mean, he's just going to be out there. And, Mike, you talk about it, how packed it is in here. I thought I saw some mice ticket scalping out there. They thought, hey, take ours there. They figured they could make some money.
Oh, exactly.
The interest here tonight. But, no, I think Kayshawn Aitchison, it goes like he's just been consistent. He's been out there. He's been a horse. There he is on the winning goal, getting an assist. 3 assists last game. Just been a big force, and that's what you want from your star players, and he's delivered.
Well, Game 7s, this is where legends are made, and we'll have to wait and see who is going to be the hero tonight for the Barrie Colts, as right now the Brantford Bulldogs have made their way out on the ice. We're waiting for the Colts to come out. But I think it's a guarantee almost that we're in for a tight hockey game here tonight, especially with the way these two teams have been playing.
Yeah, Barrie's still to come out here. They're getting ready, and this is loud, and this is what it's about. And sit back and enjoy. It's going to be a beauty.
So as the teams come out, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we will have puck drop from the TD Civic Center in Brantford. So we are just about ready to go for puck drop between the Barrie Colts and Brantford Bulldogs for game number 7. Let's take a look at our starting goaltenders, presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgian Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm.
We'll start with the visiting Barrie Colts, Ben Arevic, the 6'3", 204-pound Milton native. He's making his 16th start of these playoffs, 11-4, 2.67 goals against average, 919 save percentage, just absolutely outstanding in that Game 6 4-3 overtime win. 57 shots Arevic faced. And at the other end of the ice, no surprise here, obviously Ryerson Leaders, the veteran, the 6'1", 179-pound Nanticoke native. He's making his 14th playoff start. 10-3 record, 2.22 goals against average, 912 save percentage. He's been almost every bit as good as Arevic in this one.
Our referees tonight, Jason Feist and Damian Trigera. And on the lines, Dan Kovacic and Luke Pye. So it's a trip to the OHL Final to face the Kitchener Rangers on the line here tonight between the Barrie Colts and the Brantford Bulldogs. Barrie looking to book their ticket for the first time since 2013, while the Brantford Bulldogs looking to return to the OHL Finals for the first time since 2022. Right now they're doing a bit of a ceremony as they've got their large drum to rile up the crowd. They've got a couple of former Brantford Bulldogs alumni in attendance.
A former player.
As they get ready for this hockey game. So it's a bit of a delay before we get this one going, but this crowd alive and well. So I'm sure you can hear in the background that drum and the Let's Go Bulldogs chant. And for the Barrie Colts, obviously they want to get off to a quick start here and try and silence this crowd as Ben Wilmot gets ready to take the face-off against Jake O'Brien. And we are underway. Bulldogs will pick it up. Van Acker will dump it in. Ben Arevic behind his own net, continues it to Aitchison. Here's Wilmot, gets to the blue line, ahead for Hemming. Hemming's going to flip this one to the far corner. Back after it is Danford, leans in his Vesky. Nearly took it away from him. Loose puck picked up by the Bulldogs. They're going to get it to the line and send it out. O'Brien facing pressure here. The Colts throwing their weight around. Puck off the stick of Hemming into the Brantford zone. Sandu up the wing for Van Acker. Merrick Van Acker on the wing, takes the shot, blocked by Passmore, and that's going to go back out to center ice. Owen Protz backtracking as he's going to set things up. On the wing, Protz puts it on net. Arevic his first save, rolls to the net. Testa fires, stopped by Arevic. Bulldogs putting on more pressure here. Gabriel Frasca back to the point. Protz didn't get all of that. Puck's at the side of the net. Arevic's batting at it. Loose puck knocked to the corner by the Colts. Justin Hanser is going to send this one back behind his own goal. Picked up by Von Richter, being chased out by Banach. Parker Von Richter up to Hanser. He's going to dump it in. Crombie chases after it. Puck's in the corner. Colts trying to pounce on it. Bulldogs, though, will take it back the other way. Testa at center. He's going to dump this one in. Puck rolls back behind the Barrie net. Hanser leans into Banach. Loose puck comes to the near side. Salandra flips this one down the ice. That's going to roll into the corner, and they're going to call this icing against Barrie.
I'm sure for both these teams, a lot of adrenaline going. You want to just settle down. Obviously, you want to feed off that excitement, but first and foremost, you want to just settle down. The game's on the way. It's another game. It's a big one, but it's one where you don't want to see mistakes end up being the difference.
And Coffee Household pointing out that Cole Baudouin is on the bench. And we heard in the coach's corner from Dylan Smoskowitz that he's a pretty awesome assistant coach. He says he has a coaching career ahead of him once he's done playing in the National Hockey League.
I got a feeling that's going to be a long time from now, partner.
Oh, for sure. Colts get it back into the Brantford zone. They're going to send it back into the Barrie end, and that's going to be an icing call against the Bulldogs as they're going to bring this one back.
Well, Bulldogs fans have certainly brought it here. It's as loud as can be, and what you expect here at the Madhouse on Madison. That was a pretty good crowd in Barrie as well for that Game 6. They got really loud, and I love they even got into the old Bulldogs chants about you can't do that with the penalty calls.
Well, one thing about this Eastern Conference Final is the fans for both teams have been outstanding. as there's a shot from the point. That's going to go wide. That was Eliasson who fired it. Back to the blue line, Emerton. Emerton takes the shot, blocked by Malhotra. Now the Bulldogs send it ahead. Dennis can't control it. That puck was bouncing on him. Emerton gets it out to the neutral zone. Schneid with possession. Sends this one forward. Malhotra loses it. Gave it to Eliasson, but then takes it back from Eliasson. Along the boards, Malhotra trying to stay on his skates. That's going to be offside as Dravetsky couldn't get there in time.
Well, that did come out. It was close, but it came out as Dravetsky tried to keep that one in. And again, the Colts got to be careful. Last game, O'Brien, there was 2 or 3 times kind of snuck in behind that defense, and I expect Brantford to be looking to do the same thing again here, floating that forward high. It was Jake O'Brien that night, that time, trying to get a defender back as well as behind the blue line.
Well, they're also going to want to keep an eye on Caleb Malhotra, named both Player and Rookie of the Week in the Ontario Hockey League. Right now, Malhotra leading the Bulldogs in scoring as the puck comes along the boards, taken by Hanser on the far side. He's going to send it around. Puck comes to the blue line. Protz keeps it in. Holmes sends this one deep. Around the boards it goes. Desiderio will give chase. They'll send this one down the ice. Brantford has it at their own blue line. Right now, the puck bouncing between the two blue lines. Juracek will skate it in for Brantford. Around the boards it goes, near side to Tashurna. He'll pick it up from Brantford, back to the point, Protz. Protz to Tashurna on the near side. Tashurna to Juracek. Adam Juracek fans on the first shot attempt. He had Hanser in the way. Puck's gonna go around the boards. Luchenko chasing after it. Gets to it in the neutral zone, flips it back to his own blue line. Barrie Colts will make a change, as will the Bulldogs, as we just passed the 3-minute mark of the first period. Shots right now 2-0 Brantford as Luchenko drops it for O'Brien. He's going to dump it in. Around the boards it goes. Van Acker after it on the near side, puts it behind the Barrie net. Aitchison's knocked over by Luchenko. Colts move it up. Here's Emil Hemming. He's going to skate through center. Hemming makes the move, but the puck knocked off his tape. Puck goes to the corner. Colts trying to get it. Barrie with possession, sending it back to the line. Here's Kayshawn Aitchison. Hemming takes the shot, blocked in front. Bulldogs skate it up. That's Jet Luchenko through the neutral zone. Luchenko weaving, comes to the near point, sends it across. Stanford waits, leaves it for Van Acker. His shot blocked by Passmore. Van Acker gets it again here for Brantford. Takes the shot, blocked by Passmore. Colts can't get it out. Taking it there is Zabeski, but O'Brien nearly picked his pocket, but Zabeski's able to recover and gets it down the ice.
A couple of big shot blocks there by Passmore in front. Nice job by Zabeski. O'Brien trying to steal it off him, but he hangs on to it and gets it out.
And this is going to be a Colts team that's going to be battered and bruised from blocking shots, I'm sure, tonight, as that's been a common theme all playoff long. Puck comes around the boards. Emerton had a stick on it. Banach takes it. There's a shot. Went off Frasca. Juracek takes it down low to the corner. Forced to the outside by Gardner. That pass taken away by Calvin Crombie, and he's going to skate it out. Crombie reaches center. He'll dump this one in. Leanders out of his net. He's going to send this one around. Emerton at the point takes a shot. Deflected as Crombie got a stick on it, but Leanders with the pad save. Bulldogs sending this one down the ice. Nearly went off Emerton, and that's going to be an icing call against Brantford. The fans here don't agree, but they're going to bring this one back.
Adam Juracek really active on that blue line right now. He's getting in deep, and a couple of times to see if the Colts can take advantage of that, create an odd man rush going back the other way. But right now, Juracek really pushing forward. I mean, both these teams have defensemen that push forward. You see Emerton very good with leading the rush. Aitchison, another guy who's not afraid to go on the rush. But right now, Juracek very aggressive early in this one.
Colts get the puck to the corner. Protz is there for Brantford. Knocked down by Newton. Newton towards the net. Schneid couldn't hold on to it. Protz picks it up for the Bulldogs. Protz off the boards, out to center. Banach couldn't hold it. Puck's just sitting there at center, knocked away by Schneid. Low on the near side, goes back to Aitchison, but that's knocked off his tape, and now a 2-on-1 developing for Brantford. Paquette holds, trying to go backhand, hits the side of the net. Puck sent out in front, Bulldogs after it. Collecting it here is Dravetsky in front. That goes off Malhotra, but it stays in the zone. Sandu at the point, takes the shot, deflected. Paquette in front, spins and fires, stopped by Hrebeck. Colts can't get it out. Cooper Dennis with it. He'll drop it to the point for Dravetsky. Near side, Sandu. Sandu fires into the crowd, and somehow Hrebeck, despite the maze of players in front, is able to get a glove on.
What a job by Ben Hrebeck. Again, a couple of key stops, all sorts of chaos in front of him. And the calm and cool goaltender just takes that one in. But the Bulldogs, all sorts of action around that net. They get on the rush and getting out that big right pad, trying to go shorthanded there with and then Paquette with a great chance on the spinorama in front, but Arebic standing tall.
14-22, still to go in the first period. We're looking for our first goal of the hockey game. As Tashurna is going to be tossed out of the face-off dot, so in steps Parker Holmes. He'll take the face-off against Eamon Edgar. As Holmes right now getting some instructions from Ryder Bolton before they drop the puck. Face-off won by the Colts. Von Richter, he's going to flip this one down the ice. Getting under that is Angle. He'll send it up to Holmes. Holmes from his own blue line. That pass is blocked. Bouncing towards the net. Colts can't get to it. That was McCormick who was in the lane. Edgar sends it to the corner. Bulldogs trying to pick it up as this fourth line gets the forecheck going along the boards. Edgar can't keep that one in the zone. Chasing after it now is Tashurna. They're going to call this icing. Tashurna felt that he won that race as he slams his stick on the glass.
Well, and he's got about 3,500 fans that agree with him. No surprise here, and a couple of icing calls on Brantford. You tell fans are right into it. Any little thing right there, erupting and ready, and all the intensity in this one.
Well, just goes to show how important this hockey game is. Game number 7, the Bulldogs trying to avoid losing 3 straight, something they haven't done all season, but this has been a resilient Barrie Colts team despite being shorthanded with Cole Baudouin being out of the lineup.
Dylan Smoskowitz going over things with his team right now. Just calm them down, all right. Well, almost over 6 minutes into this one, and you knew Brantford was going to push early. You knew that they're going to look to feed off this crowd early on here. The Colts have held for it. They've got a couple of big stops for their netminder, and mission accomplished through that first part.
Colts going with that top line, Wilmot, Hemming, and Zabeski, and then you've got Aitchison and Passmore at the point, as we'll get the face-off to the right of Ryerson Leanders. So Sherna's going to take the draw for Brantford, won by the Colts. Here's Kayshawn Aitchison. Aitchison to the net, stopped by Leanders. Zabeski in front, trying to take a whack at it. Puck still loose, ends up in the far corner. Bulldogs flip it down the ice. That's going to roll towards the net, goes wide, and another icing call as Bolton just made contact with Ben Harebic. It looked like he kind of took advantage of the fact that he had Evan Passmore leaning on him.
Well, Bolton's known for this, the official having a word with him now, and Bolton trying to plead his case. I was just going by, but there's no doubt a little bit of a message there, but Colts come close, a good opportunity. Zabeski in front, get it to the front of the net. And again, Mason Zabeski talking after that last win, saying, look, when we get pucks in down low, get bodies to the front of the net, it's our game. An opportunity, another face-off in the Brantford zone, another big draw coming up, and surprise, surprise, number 77's out there for Barrie.
Well, the fourth line for Brantford is stuck on the ice because of another icing. As Tashurna and Bolton were trying to get off. Aitchison with a one-timer. That's blocked by Holmes. Puck sent out to center. Now the Bulldogs will make a change. Aitchison in the neutral zone sends this one around. Far side. That's Van Acker. Chips this one forward. With speed on the wing, it's Tashurna. Tashurna in front. Blocked by Passmore. Van Acker will follow it up on the far side. Trying to go to the net. In front. Puck got away from him. Van Acker still with it. He's taken into the boards. Luchenko knocked down by Aitchison. Puck comes to the point. Hemming will flip it down the ice. Icing is waved off as Danford comes back to play it. Danford around his own net being chased by Wilmot. Ben Danford still with it. Now sends it over to the near side. Van Acker to the net. Says Danford was reaching for it but couldn't connect. Danford will send this one back behind the Colts net. First one on it is Sandu. Zabeski leans into him. Colts trying to get it out. Hemming, surrounded by black sweaters, gets it down the ice. Colts now will make a line change as Danford will pick it up back in his own zone. 12:40 still to go in the first period. It's been an exciting start to this one. Right now, shots favoring Brantford 4-3. As Gabriel Frasca gets it out to center, blocked by Salandra. Puck's bouncing in front of the timekeeper's bench. Gardner flips this one towards the net, and Leanders will let it go by, and now it's an icing call against the Colts.
A couple of more shots here, and you can really tell the adrenaline going for both of these teams. I mean, this crowd, anytime it gets into the Barrie zone, they're as loud as can be, but Colts stay the course. They're a veteran club. He's been in this building a few times, and talking to Brad Gardner after the one game, he said that we feed off it. We love it.
That pass down the ice goes off Crombie, but that was before the red line, so they're going to bring this one back. But for the Barrie Colts, as you mentioned, they've had success here all season in Brantford. They won their one of 2 regular season games and then 2 of 3 here in the playoffs.
Well, that's got to help. Brad Gardner says, every time they boo Keyshawn Aitchison, said, he just feeds off that. So then again, where does Keyshawn Aitchison go in the league and not get booed?
Face off to the right of Horebic, won by the Colts. Hanser's going to send it around. Crombie couldn't get a stick on it. So that's going to be another icing call against the Colts. They'll try this again. Now 12:07 remaining here in this first period.
Intensity, in a game like this, everything's magnified, right? Because one mistake, one play could make the difference. And these face-offs in the zone, so big. Colts have been really good in the face-off dot. Hoping to continue that here tonight.
So Gardner in the draw against Gabriel Frasca. Gardner's going to be given a warning there, so he'll try it again. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Back to the point, Protz. Protz fans on the shot. Bannock's there, fires, and that goes over the blocker of Horebic and wide. Testa sends this one around. Frasca trying to play it here for Brantford. Comes out of the corner. Frasca goes to Protz. Deflected, ends up behind the Barrie net. Hanser knocks it away from Testa. Von Richter up ahead. Gardner turns it over to Frasca. Frasca fires, but Gardner got a stick in the lane. Juracek keeps it at the point. Down around the boards. Frasca can't hold it. Testa on the near side. Back to Frasca behind the net. Frasca skates out to that far corner, trying to keep it away from Von Richter. Von Richter reaching around, takes down Frasca. Fans want a penalty, but none coming. Bannock to the point, just kept in by Juracek. Juracek still with it here for the Bulldogs. He's got Hanser in front of him, goes to Bannock on the near side, but that pass doesn't connect. Colts get to it, Crombie sends it out and down the ice. Juracek will come back to pick it up as Colts try and make a quick line change, but now it's an icing call against Brantford. There's been so many icings in this first period.
Well, I think it was Juracek or someone there trying to catch the Colts in a line change, trying to get the puck up quickly. Instead it goes down the ice. Man, just erupted it again. Almost halfway through this first period. You got to wonder too, every second night, a lot of these guys logging a lot of minutes. Is it going to catch up? And Mike, time and time we go down to that dressing room after games and you see Colts riding the bikes, and that's what this is for, right? Top conditioning, because you never know, and you got to be ready for the big minutes. And playing every other night, the playoffs, it's a grind. And yeah, you need fourth lines, but these guys work so hard on their conditioning all year for these moments.
Bulldogs get it behind their own net. They're going to send it out to center. Bannock trying to corral it. Adam Bannock inside the Colts blue line, lost the handle. That's going to escape the zone. Bannock, though, stays with it. Bannock sending it to the near side as the Bulldogs regroup. Sandu behind his own net. Zachary Sandu will take his time. He'll leave it now for Dravetsky. Vladimir Dravetsky ahead for Malhotra. There's a loose stick that Schneid stepped on. Malhotra on the wing, drops it back for Dennis. Dennis to the net, blocked by Aitchison. Emerton comes up with it for the Colts. He'll hit the break, sends it ahead to Carter Lowe. Lowe enters the zone on the far side. His shot on goal, and Leanders with the glove save. And that'll bring the face-off back into the Brantford zone.
Again, a veteran decision right there by Carter Lowe. Get the puck, get the whistle, get the face-off in their own zone. That allows you to get a set-up play already. You get the face-off in their own zone. And sometimes you wonder, hey, you're going to throw it in, or I can just throw it right on the goalie. Make sure you get a face-off in their own zone.
Wilmot's going to step in the draw against Jake O'Brien. Face-off won by the Colts. That's going to escape the zone. Chasing after is Luchenko. Luchenko on a breakaway between the legs. Knocked down by Passmore. Fans are riled up. They thought that should have been a penalty. Colts can't get it out of the zone. Puck goes to the far side. O'Brien leans into Aitchison. Puck rolls to the net. Hrebeck leaves it for Zabeski. Hemming takes the hit from Sandu, but that puck's going to go down the length of the ice. And it's an icing call now against the Colts. But the fans here, they are upset. They thought maybe there should have been a penalty when Luchenko was taken down on that breakaway.
What an opportunity for Jet Luchenko. I mean, a ton of speed, and Passmore just coming back here, gets a piece of him there, and Luchenko loses his footing. No call, but the face-off in the Barrie zone.
I almost get the feeling that these referees are only going to call penalties if it's absolutely necessary. As Wilmot's going to get this one to the line, kept in by the Bulldogs. Wilmot across, finds Hemming. Emil Hemming enters the zone on the near side, passes it ahead. Zabeski backhand, stopped by Leenders. We've seen that backhand work before in overtime in Game 6, but this time Leenders got the better of him.
We saw that in overtime, and that time Zabeski turn around, nice little job there, nice little feed there by Emil Hemming. Get it up to Zabeski, who's parked on the doorstep. He turns, tries to get it, but Leenders right there to take that one into the chest. Hey, it's worked before, why not try it again?
Well, for Mason Zabeski, coming off that overtime winner the other night up in Barrie.
I talked to him after the game and said, take me through that play. He goes, I forgot.
It's a blur. I'm sure he's seen the replay by now. Face off to the left of Leenders, won by Eamon Edgar. Bulldogs will pounce on it. Drevetsky skates it ahead. His pass picked off by Edgar. Edgar dumps it right back into the Brantford zone. Engels there, sends it around. Bolton trying to get a stick on it. Taken by Edgar. Eliasson one-timer stop. Rebound, puck's loose. McCormick diving for it. It's in the paint. Leenders is upset as he thought maybe McCormick took a bit of a slash there as he dove for it. But this is going to rile up the Bulldogs, but what a great effort by the fourth line.
I mean, this fourth line, Eamon Edgar, 2 points the other night. And again, Desiderio, Edgar, and McCormick just doing yeoman's work down both these fourth lines of both teams. They've been very effective. And that time, the Colts, just simple play, get into the net, you get the scramble. Leenders eventually finds that one, but what an opportunity for Barrie. And how about that? You get your fourth line to go out there and give you that type of shift.
Well, Dylan Smoskowitz, before the game, was talking about how important that fourth line is, that energy they bring, and the team feeds off of it. When you see those fourth line guys out there plugging away.
Every other night, you got a game. You got to rely. You can't, the best teams that move on and go deep in the playoffs, there's a big reason why these two teams, they're the deeper teams, right? They're the teams that can send out four lines.
Gardner's going to be tossed out of the face-off dot, so in steps Crombie against Gabriel Frasca. Face-off won by the Colts. Von Richter at the point. He'll send this one around. Behind the Brantford net it goes. Gardner after it. Brad Gardner drops it back to Crombie. Crombie sends it behind the net. Salandra back to Von Richter. Von Richter with a shot through a crowd. Stopped by Leenders. Testa trying to get it out. Colts collect it. Salandra to Von Richter. Passes it over, but that doesn't connect with Gardner. Gardner drops it for Crombie in front. Salandra couldn't touch it. Here's Von Richter. Shot blocked by Testa. Colts still putting on the pressure. Von Richter again. Shot stop. Rebound. Put in there. They can't get to it. As the Colts just pouring it on. Von Richter again. His shot from the point is blocked as Juracek had it in his equipment for a moment. Colts pick it up in the corner. Crombie behind the Brantford net. Juracek's going to send this one around. Von Richter trying to keep it in the zone. That goes off Juracek, but the Colts keep it in again. Up to Newton. His shot on net stopped by Leenders. As they've got Brantford on their heels right now, out shooting them 7-4.
Well, that forecheck by Barrie gets Brantford pinned in their own zone, and then Newton. He had Leenders looking behind him as Richter just got that puck to the net. Salandra couldn't get his stick on it. The Bulldogs thought they were going to clear this, but Richter just moves it ahead to Newton, the quick snapper. And Leenders, as that one got underneath into his pads, looked behind him, but fortunately for Brantford, it's right underneath him. And another great chance there for Jaden Newton.
Got 3 goals over his last 2 games, as suddenly he's becoming the natural goal scorer for the Barrie Colts. Bulldogs send it back behind their own net. Sandu being chased by Lowe. Near side to Dennis. Dennis sends it ahead. Bulldogs get it out to center. Picked up by Paquette. Up to Sandu. Skates it in on the far side. Sandu will hit the brakes. Sets this one back to Dravetsky. Poked away by Carter Lowe. Lowe's going to skate after it. Leenders takes a whack at it. Bounces off Lowe wide of the net. Puck's behind the goal. Schneid after it. Bulldogs will pick it up. It's Malhotra. That's blocked by Newton. That's going to escape the zone. Newton's pass picked off by Paquette. He's going to flip it to the near corner. After it is Malhotra. Goes behind the Barrie net. Loses it. Dennis. Back to Engel. His shot stopped by Horevic. Colts trying to move it up. Emerton tied up by Dennis. At the point, Engel to Dravetsky. Across to O'Brien. His shot wide of the net. Engel gets it again at the point. Dravetsky, his pass. Reaches Cooper Dennis. Dennis at the far point. His shot off the leg of Eliasson. Puck's in the corner. Engel trying to play it. O'Brien's there. Takes a bump. Trying to keep it away from Emerton. Emerton takes him into the boards. O'Brien back to the point. Dravetsky winds up. His shot stopped by Horevic as he flashes the leather in the Brantford Bulldogs response.
Well, the Bulldogs trying to push back here, and after that it was about 3 or 4 minutes where Barrie really had Brantford pinned in their own zone, and they come back the other way, and that time Horevic, he sees that one all the way through and gets the big mid on it. Both these teams pushing, looking for that first goal of this contest.
So face off now to the left of Horevic. O'Brien's going to step in to take the draw against Ben Wilmot. Face off. Won by the Colts. Bulldogs get to the line. Knocked out by Zabeski. No, kept in by Danford. Van Acker on the far side. Sets up Luchenko. His shot blocked by Zabeski. Loose puck. O'Brien trying to dig for it. Gets it away from Wilmot. Danford at the far point. Across to Juracek. Juracek mishandled it. And that puck's going to be sent out to the neutral zone. But now we've got Passmore and Van Acker tied up behind the play. No penalty as those two are able to separate themselves. So the atmosphere, it's electric as the Bulldogs move it up. Luchenko with speed on the wing. Luchenko trying to go to the net. In front, batted away by Wilmot. Hemming drops it for Passmore. Passmore's going to send it over. Passmore just had his helmet knocked off his head by Van Acker. He's got to go off, and the Colts get it down the ice. Won't be icing. Sandu leaves it behind his own net. Danford will pick it up. Danford up to Bannock. Bannock to the near side. Here's Zachary Sandu. Sandu sends it around the boards. Horevic behind the net. Puts it ahead for Von Richter. Parker Von Richter up the wing. Quick pass. Here's Brad Gardner to Crombie. Crombie across to Salandra, but getting a piece of it was Bannock. Hanser fires from the point. Blocked by Frasca. Colts trying to move it around. Salandra to the point. Hanser up to Crombie to Gardner. Gardner chasing after it. Here's Salandra in the slot. Takes the shot. Misses the near side. That puck's going to sail out to the neutral zone. Here's Von Richter. From his own blue line, goes back to Brad Gardner. Justin Hanser sends it into the Bulldog zone. Icing waved off, so both teams are making changes. 5.5 minutes left in the first period. Still looking for our first goal of this hockey game. Shots right now 8-6 in favor of the Barrie Colts. Juracek up to Paquette. Paquette enters the zone, but made an extra move, putting Malhotra offside, and we'll get the whistle.
The line changing continues. Both these teams trying to get the right line out there, but what action already in this first period. Over time, both teams have had some good chances. You know, it's a big shot blocks. I mean, again, it's the little things. You know, Zabeski at the blue line there. You know, gets one off the shin pads, keep it out. The Bulldogs, you know, Passmore, a couple of big shot blocks earlier. In a game like this, they tend to get overlooked, but this is such a huge difference in the final outcome.
So how many ice packs do you think they're going to go through by the end of this game? It's just the amount of shot blocks here tonight. Zabeski kind of took a couple off there, the shin and off the ankle, but they just keep going.
You know, I don't know, like when you get into these every second night and the intensity and the level, and then you get a practice the next day, I think those practices are just much like just a skate through and stuff, you know, the recovery time. But, you know, look, I mean, these guys, this is where they want to be. They're not coming off the ice. They ain't, you know, you got to put a little ice pack on you for a little bit and feel it, they'll do it. They're ready.
So the face-off will come outside the Barrie Colts blue line. Jay McKee was having words with the official. I'm wondering if he thought maybe there should have been a penalty on Van Acker or Passmore earlier. Bulldogs dump this one in. Emerton behind his own net. Flips this one forward. That's going to go down the ice. Won't be enough for icing. Engle's going to collect it. Edison Engle sets up Danford. Danford up to Cooper Dennis and put that one into the Barrie Colts bench. So we'll get a whistle here as Dennis was trying to dump that one in quickly.
Just trying to get it off the boards and up. And, you know, you could feel it. You could just see it on the players' faces out there. The intensity level is way to the roof in this one. I mean, both these teams know, and you don't want to make that mistake. Things a lot tighter here tonight. It's pretty much what we expected.
It's been tight, it's been physical, blocked shots, plenty of opportunities, and great goaltending so far in this one for both teams. That puck's going to go back into the Brantford zone as they won that faceoff at center too cleanly. There's a Colt player down, Zabeski. He's able to get back up as Luchenko will skate it in. Luchenko cuts the middle, his shot on goal. Stopped by Hrebeck as we're starting to see a lot more of Jet Luchenko tonight.
You know, that speed is just something else by Jet Luchenko. And the first round pick of the Flyers. And, you know, just the speed in both these teams, but, you know, Luchenko just really takes it to another level. You know, comes in over the blue line and tries one, but again, Hrebeck just right out to that top of that blue paint, sees that one all the way through, and it's underneath him, and it's staying there until the face-off.
Face off to the left of Hrebeck, won by the Bulldogs. Van Acker off the draw, and the slot goes back to the point for Danford. Danford rides the blue line. His shot tipped wide of the net. Puck's at the side of the goal. Aitchison sends it forward. Hemming was bracing for impact from Danford. Puck will escape the zone. Bulldogs with it at their own blue line. Danford sends this one back to Sandu. Zachary Sandu is going to take it back behind his own net. 4:15 left to go in the first period. Sandu will move this one forward now for Brantford. Up ahead to Luchenko, cuts through the middle. Luchenko's pass ahead for O'Brien. Emerton took a swing at it in the middle. What a save by Hrebeck! That glove's got a magnet in it as Van Acker's shot went right into it.
Well, Marek Van Acker had that one all teed up in the slot and ready to go top shelf, and Hrebeck, no way, gets out the big glove hand in that one. And again, Hrebeck in position, ready to make that stop. And what a big-time stop by the Barrie netminder.
Oh my goodness, Ben Hrebeck has reached a new level these last 3 games in this Eastern Conference Final. As we remain scoreless, Gardner's going to take the draw against Frasca. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. At the blue line is Protz. He fans on it. Colts take it. Brad Gardner skates it through center ice. Gardner drops it to Crombie. Crombie waits, fires, deflected off a stick. Ends up in the corner. Bulldogs with possession. Up the wing, Von Richter trying to play it. Leans into Protz. He's knocked over. Play continues. Puck ends up back in the Brantford zone. Testa sends it back to the defense. Here's Juracek. Juracek up ahead. Frasca got a stick on it. He's going to dump this one in. Back after it for the Colts is Parker Von Richter. Von Richter up to Gardner. Gardner's pass picked off at center by Malhotra. He's trying to send Schneid. Von Richter, though, casually takes it away. Crombie up to Von Richter, chips it ahead. Schneid again trying to catch up to it. Juracek. He'll send this one back as the Bulldogs regroup. Both teams are making changes. Up the wing, Juracek tips it into the Barrie zone, but it's picked off by Von Richter. Newton sends it forward. Dennis is there to collect it for the Bulldogs. Juracek again deep in his own zone. Juracek keeps it away from Schneid up the middle. That goes off Cooper Dennis. Von Richter up to Newton. Schneid gets it in the zone, takes the hit, but they're going to call this offside against the Barrie Colts.
2:49 left in this first period, and again, both teams doing a good job of getting sticks, bodies in front of that lane. Make it hard to get that puck to get through to the net. Both teams have done that here, getting in the laneways, standing tall at the blue line, and Luchenko, but it seems like more in this game, they're really trying to get him going through the neutral zone with speed. See if he can hit him in that connection with that speed over that blue line and see if it leads to something. And, you know, why not? The guy's got burners.
You know, we haven't seen much of that this series from Jet Luchenko. He's been relatively quiet. But here tonight, Luchenko making his presence known as the Bulldogs get it to center ice. O'Brien enters the zone on the far wing. Puck comes around to Van Acker. Van Acker in front. Luchenko couldn't get a stick on it. Danford keeps this one in. Down low to O'Brien. Aitchison after it. Takes a hit from Luchenko. Puck's in the corner. Danford takes the hit from Zabeski. Battle along the boards. Kayshawn Aitchison there to pick it up for the Colts. He'll send it around. Hemming on the boards. Trying to get it away from Sandu. Puck's bouncing at the point. Kept in by the Bulldogs. Sandu sends it around behind the Barrie net. O'Brien in the corner. He'll go back to the point. Sandu with possession. Across to Danford. Danford, his pass in front. Luchenko, his stick was tied up, and now the Colts take it out. Here's Kayshawn Aitchison on the far wing. He's got Zabeski going to the net, goes off his skate. Zabeski trying to play it. It's behind the Brantford net. Passing it to the near side, Aitchison. At the point, kept in by Hanser. Hanser across to Salandra. Joe Salandra passing it over. Here's Gardner, waits, fires, stop, rebound. Leanders is looking around, but it ends up under his pad. And now Aitchison having words with one of the Bulldogs players as he took a hard hit into the boards. I believe that was Van Acker.
What a nice job by Hanser to keep it in. And then Gardner, just the patience on that one. Thought he was going to stop, defender goes down, just waits, and then moves into the middle of the ice and trying to find that 5-hole with Zabeski. Right on the doorstep looking for a loose puck, but Leanders gets on top of that one. A great patience by the Colts leads to a good opportunity in front.
We're down to a minute 40 remaining now in the first period. Face-off will come to the right of Leanders. Gardner taking the draw against Frasca. As this has been a familiar battle all series long in the face-off dot. As they're having some words here before they drop the puck. Scrambled draw. Gardner has it in his skates, picked up by Protz. He's going to skate it behind his own net. Protz up the wing to Testa. Testa loses it to Crombie. Crombie up to Gardner, almost offside. Puck comes back to Salandra. Here's Von Richter, waits, decides to pass. Gardner in front, shot, scores! Kayshawn Aitchison! He puts it top shelf, and that's the first time this series the Barrie Colts have opened the scoring.
I think they're going to review this one for the initial entrance. The offside, but what a shot by Kayshawn Aitchison. Again, the Colts, you know, you got a shot block in the lane, and they're being patient in that time just to pass back to Aitchison. They try to get it across. A nice little feed there to Aitchison in the one-timer, top corner.
Well, we're waiting to see if they're going to challenge it, but everyone's lining up. That was pretty close to being offside.
Yes, I couldn't tell. It was close, but no, it looks like it's going to be a good goal.
So for the Barrie Colts, they have opened the scoring. Kayshawn Aitchison, his 6th of the playoffs. So 1-0 lead with 1:14 left to go here in the first period. Eliason trying to play it. He's got Malhotra putting on the pressure. Newton along the boards, has it in his skates. Schneid trying to dig it free. William Schneid along the boards, sends it out and across the neutral zone. Danford will be the first one on it, drops it back as we're now in the final minute of the first period. Paquette up ahead, picked off by Schneid. Schneid skates this one ahead, he's going to flip it into the near corner in the Brantford end. Dravetsky first one on it, up to Malhotra, goes off the heel of his skate. Cooper Dennis will collect it. Dennis to Paquette. Paquette fires, stopped by Hrebeck, puck's loose, they jam at it. And Jaden Newton there to help out Hrebeck, keeps that puck under his pad, but we've seen this from Brantford. They respond quickly, and Nearly got one there.
Great chance for Paquette trying to sneak that one into the short side. And we talked about Ben. It looks like he hasn't cut those toenails, I guess, over the game. Getting out that right pad and just keeping that one out. Paquette tries to come in and stuff it in. And Barrie netminder holding firm there and keeping that puck out.
So it remains 1-0 for the Barrie Colts. 33.3 seconds remaining. Shots even at 10 apiece. Face off to the right of Hrebeck. Gardner taking the draw against O'Brien. Face off won by the Bulldogs. Jurczyk at the point. He'll wait, passes it over, one-timer! Stopped by Hrebeck. Launching that one was Merrick Van Acker. And the Bulldogs here tonight doing a decent job winning those face-offs, especially in the offensive zone.
Big. I mean, all series, really, they've been good, especially here on home ice and responding. We give up a goal, and usually they come right back, and the Colts got to be aware of that. But a big draw here with 27 seconds left. You want to win this one, get it out of the zone. The Bulldogs, they want possession of that puck, and a big draw coming up here.
Wilmot taking the draw against Jake O'Brien. Scrambled draw. Bulldogs get to it. Van Acker into the corner. Keeps it away from Von Richter at the point. Danford back to Van Acker. His shot stopped by Hrebeck. Makes that right pad save. Hemming's going to get this one down the ice. Van Acker back at his own blue line. Taken away by Zabeski to the net. Stopped by Leenders. What a chance for Mason Zabeski. Colts in the offensive end. That shot deflected wide. O'Brien gets this one out and down the ice. And that will do it. As that's the end of the first period. The Barrie Colts, Mason Zabeski, nearly got another one there to make it 2-0.
Wow. Almost a turnaround there. You capitalize, and what a huge goal that one would have been. But what a chance by Mason Zabeski out in front. And again, you keep on that forecheck. You force quick decisions. They turn the puck over. It almost leads to another goal there. And what a first period for the Barrie Colts. Shots all even, 11-11. Both teams, good opportunities. But again, Kayshawn Aitchison, who, I think he came off a couple of times in that first period. But, what a shot. Top corner, top shelf, a beautiful setup. And again, the patience of the Colts, right? What they're seeing is, bodies are going down. The Bulldogs are doing a good job of getting in lanes, trying to block shots. The Colts, a little bit of patience. You hang on, let them slide by. You're able to kind of move around them, and that's what happened that time. And Gardner able to find Aitchison back there in the slot with a quick shot up top corner.
So the Barrie Colts have the Brantford Bulldogs in unfamiliar territory. Barrie opening the scoring for the first time this series. The goal also coming in the final 2 minutes of that opening frame. So if you're the Barrie Colts, Dylan Smoskowitz and company, you've got to be pretty thrilled with the way that first period went.
Oh yeah, you got to be happy. I mean, we saw the last game in Barrie, especially the opening 4 minutes. Brantford was all over Barrie. Much better start here in this first period. Barrie pushed. They pushed just as much as they got pushed back. And I like it. They're getting in on the forecheck. They're making quick decisions. And I love the patience they're showing in that opening 20 minutes. Again, both teams doing a good job getting in lanes, blocking shots, getting sticks in the lanes, taking away that open lane. But the Colts start to show a little bit of patience there. And it creates an opportunity. We saw that on the Aitchison goal.
Now, one storyline that we haven't talked too much about is Calvin Crombie, because he's an interesting story, because he was traded from the Brantford Bulldogs to the Barrie Colts at the beginning of this season because OA numbers. You can only have 3 OAs dressed on your roster. So Calvin Crombie, a chance to play in the OHL, still comes to the Barrie Colts. He's been having an impact, and now game number 7 of the Eastern Conference Final against your former team.
I asked him about it coming. He goes, he used the word hatred for his team here. And look, I mean, there's nothing. It would be sweeter for him to walk out of here tonight with a win, right? I mean, look, those were his teammates, and obviously there's special bonds there, Brantford. But right now, it's they're all your enemy right now, and he wants to win this. He wants to keep his career going, and he's been big. I mean, he got big part of that overtime winner in Game 5 that kept that series alive. Finds Gardner in the slot, and you couldn't be happier for him. And when you talk to Dylan Smoskowitz and you talk about the Jaden Newtons, Crombies, guys that just, they're the grit, right? They work so hard and stuff. Sometimes it doesn't appear on the score sheet. But, when you look at the end of the game and their contributions, they're big time.
So before the game, Josh McCann had a chance to catch up with Calvin Crombie, and here's his interview from earlier today at the TD Civic Center.
Joined by Colts forward Calvin Crombie. Calvin, Game 7 against your former team. When you got traded to Barrie, was this exactly where you envisioned you'd be in May?
I can't lie. I mean, I didn't know what the future would hold in Barrie. When I got to Barrie, we were missing a few pieces. We got Kobo and Ham and Cash back, and then we added a few guys to the deadline. Coming into the East, we knew we're going to have to go through Brantford. That was something that we knew, we were going to have to do, and we were prepared for it. It's Game 7. It's anybody's game at this point, right? I mean, going down 3-1, coming into Brantford, taking one here, and then, taking one back in Barrie. I mean, now it's Game 7, right? It's a 0-0 series. It's whoever's going to win the next game. So that's where we're at right now.
You guys kind of struggled to start the year, and it was around the first time you guys came to Brantford when Emil Hemming returned that things started going your guys' way. Did that kind of feel like the turning point game of the year that first time here in Brantford?
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely the start of it. I mean, getting Hemming back, he's a huge piece. He's a great player. Coming into Brantford, obviously being, a good team, coming in and taking that win and dominating that game, that was a huge start for us. And then I think also in Kitchener when, those guys were gone at World Juniors and a bunch of other guys stepped up, we got the win against Kitchener, which obviously, they're in the finals and they secured their spot. So proving that there when all those top guys were at World Juniors and, Kobo's out tonight. So proving that again the past 2 games that we can do it.
Obviously no Baudouin, like you mentioned. You guys were down 3-1 in the series. You've been down the last 2 games going into the third period. What can you say about the way you guys have just stuck together and been able to fight back every time?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a pack mentality. We've always been built for the third periods, the overtimes. I mean, you hear it all the time. This is why we invest. It's a key thing that we've had around Barrie, and the work we put in through practices every day, every night. We're preparing for this and preparing for those long nights and those third periods where we can make that push when other teams are catching their breath. We're ready to go. That's just one of those things that we've been really good at all year. I mean, obviously you want to get the start and you want to get ahead, but if not, we're not worried at all.
And obviously, you guys are known for your physicality. You're known for your forecheck. How important do you think that has been throughout the series as you try and wear Brantford down?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're a big team. You got to use that to your advantage. Hitting guys and banging them up, and whether if it's not a major injury, even the little sores and the stuff it catches up to you, right? So, I mean, hitting them and taking as much physicality and pain on them as you can, and it adds up. And at the end of the day, if we can do what we can do, then, we have a good shot.
Now, it's your first Game 7 in the OHL. Are you excited? Are you a bit nervous? How are you feeling going into this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's a bit of both. I mean, it's been Game 7 for the past 2 games for us. Game 5 and 6, our backs are against the wall. We lost, it was done for us. So it was Game 7, both those games, and nothing changes here. I'm confident in this team, and I'm confident in our coaches and our ownership. So, they made the right moves, and we have a great team here. So, I think it'll be a good game tonight.
So welcome back to the TD Civic Center in Brantford, where the Barrie Colts have a 1-0 lead here in game number 7 of the Eastern Conference Final. 40 minutes left to go in this best-of-7 series. And with this broadcast, we've got the fan conversation up and running with the chats. We want to appreciate everyone who's been tuning in. I understand, I was noticing in the chat, people are tuning into the video feed and putting our audio over top. So it's great to hear that Colt fans
appreciate that. Yeah.
Tuning in one way or another. And yeah, that's why we do this this broadcast, to bring you the I guess the Barrie Colts kind of angle with the broadcasts.
Well, the angle catch both teams, and again, you know, it's just great to see the fans from other teams coming in and joining in as well. But you know, again, we appreciate it, and you know, it's been a great year, and we look to continue this tradition moving forward.
Exactly. And we've got Howie Campbell sitting beside us, so I'm sure this is a good resume builder for maybe next season.
Well, let's hope so.
So we're going to go to the chat, because I do see a couple of questions. First off, Matthew Holcomb saying, do you work sports in the summer, Mike? No, I don't usually do summer sports, but I do continue with the channel. So if you subscribe, you'll still see OHL content throughout, unless you need somebody to broadcast your games. I'm sure Josh and I could figure something out. If do you want to do some summer broadcasting?
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
All right.
We'll go to baseball games.
Yeah, Josh wants to do baseball games. Do you want to do baseball games?
We're gonna go see Avery umpire games, so we can go do that.
Okay, yeah, so Matthew, if you want us to do some baseball broadcasting, maybe we'll get to that. Richard says, Gene said the other day, it's the score at the end of the game that matters, and wow, did that matter for the last 2 games, but it was too close. It'd be nice if tonight the Colts can do it with a little less drama and excitement to get there. It made me nervous.
I hear you, Richard. You know, again, it's look, you know, I know I say that, but does anybody really remember, as long as the final score there and it gets you what you want, like, it's almost like, who cares what happened before that, right? You got it done, and in a game like this, winner take all, that's what it's all about. Just find a way to get one more goal to the other team and move on.
And Coffee Household saying this is way better than anything Leafs can produce in terms of sports, though, Richard. Same as PWHL. It's a better watch, easier on the pocket, and less nasty community. I'm glad we're being compared to the Leafs product right now, especially with what happened today.
That was quite the day if you're a Leaf fan, but again, you know, that's what we appreciate, and especially all the fans coming from different teams and get together, you know, and hey, voice your opinion, and just remember, you know, that's you're all fans and all, you know, love this game, right? That's what it's all about, and you know, enjoy this.
Now, Matthew asking, what do we think about the AHL team coming to Hamilton? Obviously, Hamilton used to be the home of the Bulldogs before they relocated to Brantford. That was the whole city council junior hockey kind of argument. So they wanted to build a new arena for the OHL team in Hamilton. That didn't work out. They renovate the First Ontario Centre. Now you got the Bridgeport Islanders moving to Hamilton. But I guess if you're a Colts fan, it kind of works, because Kayshawn Aitchison may be playing in Hamilton as early as next season.
There you get AHL hockey, and that's great hockey as well. Obviously, you know, a lot of the players starting their pro careers there, and you know, it's great to see the Hammer get a hockey team back. But if you ask Brantford fans, they're going to say, hey, they really liked the way it worked out, right? You get the renovation, the building, the Bulldogs move here, and it's their new home, and what a success it's been here in Brantford.
And Trevi Field saying, loving this broadcast so much, and listen to for the Game 6. Keep up the good work. Let's go Colts. So yeah, look at that. You're getting positive encouragement.
Well, that's what you want. You know, it's all fun, right? We all bring a different perspective, and I love hearing it, right? You know, how someone saw it, they could see it different, and you know, you get words in your opinion and so on. But you know, again, look, this is all fun, right? I mean, we look forward to these nights all the time, and you know, one of the best things we did was putting up the chat, and you know, and hearing from all you guys.
And Mike Fallis, he has been a regular on the chat. He says, still pain coming next year. And Gene, man of peace, love it. You're right, Gene. We all love the game.
Well, that's, you know, like I said, I mean, it's.
I think you've made him warm up to you a little more as the season went on.
Well, good, you know, and you know, we want to see everyone back and having fun. And I know it sounds kind of, but this is what it's all about, right? A lot of great hockey fans, and trust me, when you run into them, the amount of knowledge they have for these games sometimes really takes you back, and they notice and they see everything, right? And sometimes that different perspective can, it really opens your eyes.
So we're just about 3.5 minutes away from the start of the second period of play between the Colts and the Bulldogs. And going into this second frame, if you're the Barrie Colts, you got to keep doing much of the same, as it seems to be paying off. Shots right now favoring the Bulldogs 12-11, but it's been pretty back and forth in this hockey game.
You go in there and you're happy. You're happy with how that first period worked out. Obviously, you got the lead, but even better, I think you pushed. You created opportunities much better than those opening 40 minutes at home the other night. But what you want, you can't take the foot off the pedal. You know that Brantford team, they're going to come even harder in this second period. The way they look at it, they're down a goal, right? They're going to come harder. So what does that mean? You have to keep up the same and match that intensity. You really can't afford to take the foot off the pedal throughout this. You talk about a complete 60-minute effort, and that's what you want to see here.
Now, if for the Brantford Bulldogs, being down by 1 after the first period, something that they're not used to, but we did see that push right off the hop, feeding off the atmosphere at the TD Civic Center. They were getting chance after chance, but right now, trying to solve Ben Horebic seems to be a pretty tall order from them, especially what we've seen these last few games.
For Brantford, when you're a good team, what you want is the opportunities. If you're not getting the opportunities, then there's a concern. You're getting the opportunities. You're running into a hot Ben Horebic right now. And again, you just got to, if you keep getting those opportunities, eventually you're going to get one and they're going to come through. But, I think at this stage, I don't think you see too much change, right? It's what brought you here. And there's still 40 minutes to go, and it's a one-goal hockey game.
And Coffee Household pointing out there's no out-of-town scores, LOL. It is a little strange when you get down to the final 3 teams. Games are starting to become a little more spread out, although we do know the OHL Final begins Wednesday. So if the Barrie Colts win, the Kitchener Rangers will have home ice advantage, so we'll be at the odd Wednesday if that's the case. But if Brantford wins here tonight, the Rangers will come to the Bulldogs here at the TD Civic Center. So for the Rangers, still trying to figure out logistics. Who are they going to host, or are they going to be traveling?
Oh, yeah, and you talk about it every second night. It's just right back to the rink, and we know how we feel, and all of a sudden, Brantford, these two teams, they'll be ready. It's going to be a tough test, but they're going to have to be ready.
So we're getting ready for the second period of play here at the TD Civic Center as we get ready for the Colts and the Bulldogs. So we got the two teams ready to go, and we'll see how this all plays out as we welcome Josh McCann to the broadcast here.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Mike Fallis.
There we go. And I'm sure Mike's going to say hi to you in just a few moments.
I'm sure he'll be ever friendly.
I was also told that Mikey K from the Brampton Steelheads broadcast, he said he was going to tune in while barbecuing.
Right on.
I haven't had confirmations yet if he's doing that.
It's getting to that time of year where, if the Colts survive tonight and keep on rolling, we may have to have a barbecue tailgate for one of the games in Kitchener.
There we go. It'd be kind of fun if we had a tailgate party with the subscribers and those who tune into the broadcast.
That'd be great. Let's set that up for the next home game.
Yeah, maybe we should have a potluck.
I saw a small tailgate tonight. It wasn't really a tailgate. It was just this old couple reading books in their lawn chairs outside, but it's that time of year, right?
Exactly. So we are just about ready to go for the second period of play. O'Brien lining up against Ben Wilmot. As we get this back underway, waiting for the official to get ready. Actually, they don't have the time set on the clock yet. They've just got zeros on the board.
It says third period, too.
Oh, we're going to the third.
Wow.
Oh, now they fixed it. All right, second period underway.
We get to go home early.
There we go. I'm sure Colts fans would be okay with that if this was the third period.
Let's hurry up the clock.
The Colts send this one deep into the Brantford zone. Sandu back behind his own net. He's going to send this one up to Danford. Here's Bannock. Bannock has that one taken away by Aitchison. Danford, he'll skate it back. Here is Sandu. Sandu up the wing. O'Brien, he's going to dump this one in. Van Acker gives chase. Leans into Passmore. Puck still loose. Picked up by Bannock. Takes the shot through the crease. Puck ends up in the corner. Van Acker sends this one across. Bannock behind the Barrie net. Wilmot comes up with it for the Colts. Sends this one around. Van Acker trying to put it towards the net. Puck's bouncing, and the Colts get it out to center. Wilmot to Hemming. Hemming on the wing, takes the shot. Leanders the save. Puck's bouncing behind the Brantford net. Wilmot plays it to the corner. Backhand pass. Hanser across to Von Richter. Von Richter shot blocked. That was Frasca getting in the way. Puck's in the corner. Sandu comes out with it. Up to Bannock. Bannock will reach center ice and dumps this one in. Horebic behind his own net as Crombie threw a hit there on Bannock. Puck's at the point. There's their shot from the Bulldogs' defense. That's going to go over the net. Brad Gardner picks it up for Barrie. Long stretch pass, trying to get it up to Crombie, but that pass won't connect. And that's going to be an icing call against Barrie.
Gardner and Crombie exchanging words there, just trying to get on the same page. It's interesting first period for that line with the Von Richter and Hanser pairings. It felt like for the first 10 minutes they couldn't get out of their own zone, but then second half of that period they were really strong, getting in the offensive zone, had a few chances, and were on the ice for Kayshawn Aitchison's goal. Von Richter probably had 20 shot attempts in the first as well.
We're seeing Von Richter being a lot more involved in the play here tonight from the point. Just gives another option there for the Barrie Colts from the blue line. Face-off won by Brantford. Juracek fires. That's blocked. Rebound. It bounces on Juracek from the corner, and that goes off Testa and behind the Barrie net. Testa tied up by Hanser, trying to play this one around. There to pick it up. Salandra to Hanser. Back behind the goal, Von Richter. Von Richter has that one knocked away by Testa. Colts will get this one down the ice. Puck's bouncing, as that's going to be an icing call now against Barrie.
Brantford going to switch it up now, get that second line out there, try and take advantage of some tired bodies. Thought the Colts had a pretty good first period. Now weathered that storm. They were doing a good job getting in front of pucks, not letting Brantford get too many clean lanes to Ben Horebic in that first period, and eventually the shots started coming for themselves. And they came close a couple times and got on the board.
Face-off won by the Colts. They're going to send this one out to center. Chasing after, here's Crombie. Crombie loses it to Juracek. Puck's loose. Gardner after it. Crombie into the corner. Sends it in front. Leander's got a paddle on it. Puck's going to escape the zone. Charlie Paquette picks it up. Paquette on the wing. To the net. Backhand. Stopped by Horebic. And that's going to go out of play. And that's something we've been seeing more of, where the Colts just flip it into the air and down the ice, trying to catch the defender when they're trying to play the bounce.
Yeah, they caught him there as well. Juracek, puck gets knocked to the corner, and it's all about the little things in hockey, especially right there. Ryerson Leanders, he gets a touch on that. That looks like such a little thing. Well, William Schneid was alone out in front. If he doesn't get a touch on that, Schneid's wide open with a lane to the net.
So we'll get this face-off back into the Barrie zone. Schneid's going to take the draw, wins this one cleanly back to the corner. Emerton flips this one ahead. Puck's at center ice. Carter Lowe sends it up to Schneid. Schneid on the wing, takes the shot. That's blocked by Trevetsky. Puck's behind the Brantford net. Schneid trying to play it. Trevetsky around. Here's Newton back to the point. Off the skate of Eliasson and out. Cooper Dennis gets a step on it. He's going to skate it up the wing. Hits the brakes but loses it. Eliasson sends it around the net to Emerton. Emerton's going to hit the brakes. Puck's in the corner. Carter Lowe, backhand pass out to center. Trevetsky backtracking here for the Bulldogs. Up to Cooper Dennis. That pass blocked by Lowe. Dennis picks it up now for Brantford. He's going to skate it back into his own zone. Trevetsky on the near side. He'll lose this one as that's going to go down the ice. Colts will play it. Kayshawn Aitchison with possession. He's the goal scorer for Barrie tonight. McCormick gets by the defense. Jonah McCormick trying to get a lane, hits the brakes. Colts are making a change. Puck sent to the point, but that pass is deflected. Aitchison comes up with it center ice. He's going to dump this one in, but that's going to go over the glass and out of play.
We've seen the line matching throughout this game, and the one things that have remained the same, the first line's going at it and the fourth line's going at it. So that kind of makes this fourth line matchup ever so critical, because whoever wins that battle could set up their first line with a chance in the offensive zone against the fourth line. We saw that a couple times in the first period. Ryder Bolton and Dylan Tashurna out there for Brantford. They iced the puck, and then the Colts are able to get their top line out there and create a bit of a mismatch.
Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Rolls all the way to Leanders. He's going to guide that to the corner. Danford back behind his own net. Sends it forward. Bolton gets this one out. Puck's bouncing. Hands are trying to play it. Puck's sitting on the blue line. Colts regain possession in their own zone. Justin Hanser gets to center, flips it ahead, batted away there by Angle. Tashurna trying to get it out. Bolton picks it up for the Bulldogs. Up ahead, Tashurna tipped it, so no icing. Puck goes behind the Barrie net. Nicholas Desiderio comes up with it for the Colts. Gets this one out and down the ice. Angle at his own blue line. Edison Angle over to Danford. Danford up ahead. Skating it in is Bolton. Drops to Tashurna over to Sandu, and puck bounces wide of the net. Tashurna trying to play it. Desiderio forces it out to center. He's going to put it right back into Brantford territory. Leanders behind his own net, decides to play it around. Zabeski can't get to it. Emerton picks it up at his own blue line as O'Brien was coming off the bench.
That would have been too many if O'Brien touched it.
No icing. Angle back to play it. Takes the hit from Zabeski. Banach with possession to Danford. Danford to O'Brien. Jake O'Brien, he'll skate this one in for the Bulldogs. Up to Banach. Banach from the corner, stopped by Hrebeck as he's able to pounce on that rebound, and then Aitchison takes down Jake O'Brien. Fans wanting a penalty, but the referees, they're going to have words with them, but that's about it.
You saw that last game as well. In the first period, Aitchison gave a little stick tap to one of the Bulldogs players, and the refs sat him aside and said, okay, look, I'll let you get away with that one, but I'm watching you now. Don't try that again. And could be an example of that here. If Aitchison tries that again the next couple minutes, may end up with a penalty.
So face off to the right of Hrebeck. 15:20 left in the second period. Colts up by 1. Gardner ready to take the draw here against O'Brien. Puck sent to the corner. Aitchison, first one on it. He's going to send it around. Zabeski got a stick on it, exits the zone. Banach across for Protz. Protz sends it forward. O'Brien got a stick on it. Hrebeck out of his own net. Blocked in front, set in front, shot. How did that not get to the net? Looked like Gardner got in the lane. Now a breakaway chance for Hemming, but he lost an edge. And that one's going to be taken by the Bulldogs. O'Brien trying to skate it back the other way, but in the way was Aitchison. Puck sent to the line. Juracek can't hold it. Emil Hemming skates it in for the Colts on the far side. Hemming takes the shot, kicked aside Leanders. Puck's loose. Puck comes to the near corner. Hemming up with it. Here's Brad Gardner. Back to Eliasson. Eliasson on the far point. Backhand to the nets, and that goes off the stick of Zabeski. Comes back to the blue line. Colts trying to move it around. There's a loose stick out there that got in the way, but the Bulldogs, Juracek, he's going to get it out. Von Richter kicks this one ahead. Knocked that one away from Van Acker. Eliasson in his own zone, up to Salandra. Joe Salandra inside the line, facing pressure. Loose puck. Colts trying to get to it, and they will. They'll get it out to center. Protz backtracking in his own zone. Here's Juracek. Cross-ice feed to Luchenko. Luchenko hits the brakes, trying to cut to the middle. Testa fires that one over the net. Puck's in the back of the goal. Frasca finds it. He has in that far corner, back to Danford. Danford waits, sends it across to an open wing. Colts trying to get to it. Wilmot gets a stick on it here for Barrie, trying to get it ahead. Crombie up the wing, takes the hit. Puck's rolling into the Brantford zone, icing waved off. Zachary Sandu being chased by Wilmot. Sandu up to Danford. Danford ahead. Here's Testa. Testa across. Luchenko drops it and knocked away by Wilmot to center. Danford racing back. He'll collect it now for the Bulldogs. Dropping it there. Wilmot trying to take it away. Bouncing puck Crombie into the corner. Crombie sends it around to the near point. Kayshawn Aitchison at the blue line takes the shot. Blocked by Danford. Danford sends this one forward. Here's Luchenko, and the Bulldogs will get it out and down the ice. Kayshawn Aitchison. He's going to skate this one up the wing. Sends it around. Stopped by Leanders behind the net. Leanders will send this one around. That's going to escape the zone. Picked up by Passmore. He loses it. Malhotra with speed into the zone. Takes the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. Puck sent to the corner. Colts trying to pick it up. Aitchison with it behind his own net. Backhand pass to Newton. Out to center. Here's Carter Lowe. Lowe skates it in for the Colts. Takes the shot. Stop. Rebound. Another chance. Kicked aside by Leanders. And he'll cover it up as Carter Lowe got a couple of looks. But Leanders is able to hold on.
Good look there for Caleb Malhotra. He's reminded us all series long what a special player he's going to be. Good job by the Colts, though, off the rebound, able to clear it to safety. Barrie able to bring it back the other way. Had a good opportunity there. Nice save by Leanders, and then Schneid and Lowe do a good job drawing a crowd, but not going over the line there as well. So it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, Game 7's always so special, and I think you can pretty much guarantee, no matter who ends up the winner tonight, that the loser's probably thinking one big thing: if only we won one more home game.
Well, that's the thing about this series. We're kind of wondering if it would be a home team series, kind of like Barrie Kingston last year in the second round. But here, the Colts, they seem to thrive playing in this building, winning 2 of 3 in the playoffs and 1 of 2 even in the regular season.
Yeah, they've played good here. It's a loud environment, and they're really proud of their Bulldogs and the way they cheer for them. But the Colts, they haven't been too affected by it at all. We were down there waiting for our interviews. They were singing the pregame intro song. They didn't seem to care. So I think one team will certainly be asking that. They'll also be asking, thank goodness Steve Simmons isn't asking us any questions after the game tonight.
Yeah, that press conference day of the Toronto Maple Leafs, that got vicious. But that's a story for another time.
We'll do a live stream on that in the summer.
There we go. Face off to the right of Leanders. Newton's going to take the draw against Caleb Malhotra. Face off won by the Bulldogs. Puck goes to the corner. Trevetsky fans on it. Low in front, but no one there for the Colts. Dennis, he'll skate this one forward for Brantford. Reaches center, dumps it in. Around the boards it goes. Malhotra gets a stick on it. Trying to keep that one away from Hanser. They continue to battle. Loose puck. Picked up by Paquette. Charlie Paquette comes back to the point. Sends it to the net. That's going to go wide. Protz at the blue line. Owen Protz waits, fires. That's tipped wide of the net. Puck comes to the near point. Malhotra loses it. Colts flip it down the ice. Schneid trying to get under it. Knocked down by Protz. Trevetsky with it in front of his own net. He'll skate this one forward. Trevetsky up to Paquette. Paquette will send it around. Hanser. Puck takes a weird bounce in the corner, but it benefits the Colts. They're going to get it out. Here's Mason Zabeski. Zabeski, his shot turned aside by Leanders. Zabeski gets it again for the Colts. He's knocked off stride. Trying to play it. Trevetsky digs it free. Trevetsky sends it ahead. Malhotra will clear it. Knocked down at center by Keyshawn Aitchison. Aitchison in front of his own net. Goes to Passmore. Up the wing. Knocked forward there by Trevetsky. Bulldogs will dump it in. 11:24 still to go in the second period. Shots now 16-15 for the Barrie Colts. Zachary Sandu now deep in his own zone. Sends it up the wing. That one off Van Acker. Gives it to O'Brien. Jake O'Brien drops this one back to Sandu, but he can't keep it in play. Puck will come all the way back into the Brantford zone. Colts are making a line change. Danford up the wing. Here's O'Brien. Jake O'Brien at the point, passes it over. Sandu fires, stopped by Harebic. Rebound, Bulldogs can't get to it. Puck sent ahead to Crombie. He's going to skate it out for the Colts. Calvin Crombie on the far side. His shot wide of the net. Brad Gardner on the near side. Fans on the pass, taken by Bannock. Adam Bannock skates it forward, up to Danford. Danford trying to go back to Bannock. Puck goes behind the Barrie net. Aitchison takes it away from Bannock. He'll skate. He's being chased by O'Brien. Colts get it to the line and out. After it, here is Salandra. Sends it to the middle. Frasca was there for the Bulldogs. Frasca drops it for Danford. Danford up the wing. Here's Bannock. Across to Sandu. Zachary Sandu up ahead to Bannock. Chips it ahead quickly to O'Brien on the wing. Jake O'Brien cuts to the middle. Still with it. Knocked away by Edgar. Bulldogs keep it in. Juracek passes across. Side of the net. What a save by Harebic. Gets across with that right pad. Bulldogs still with it. Bannock back to Juracek. Bannock gets it again. At the point, Juracek, Bannock. They just pass it back and forth. Fans want a shot. There it is, but it's blocked by Crombie. And the Colts will get it out. And they're going to wave off the icing. What a save just a few moments ago from Ben Harebic, keeping this a 1-0 score. Now it's Protz trying to go end-to-end. He's forced around the net in front, but no one there for the Bulldogs. Juracek takes it away. Backhand stopped again by Harebic. Puck's at the side of the goal. Bouncing at the point. Protz keeps it in. His shot stopped. Rebound. Bulldogs just scrambling. Another chance, and that goes over the net. Bulldogs trying to put it out in front. The Colts keep it to the outside. Desiderio will find it to relieve the pressure. He'll put this one down the ice, and that's going to be an icing call, but the fans, they're cheering the efforts here for Brantford, but what a couple of huge saves by Ben Harebic.
Man, Ben Harebic doing it again. A bad turnover out in front. Juracek was all alone. Horebic somehow makes the save. That one-timer from O'Brien, that's the exact same shot as on the power play late in the game the other night. And for Brantford, they may not have gotten the goal, but you know what? This crowd was starting to get quiet and starting to get a bit frustrated. That was a huge shift for them, and now the second line's out against Barrie's fourth line that right now is dead tired. Although I don't think they've ever been more happy to see a whistle for an icing than that one.
Face-off won by the Colts. Desiderio chips out center, and here's drawn to McCormick. McCormick to the net, hits the brakes, trying to spin, tucks it around. That's going to go wide. Colts want a penalty, but none coming. At center is Malhotra. Malhotra on the wing, gets around, but Von Richter pokes it away. Dennis back to Juracek, but that pass doesn't connect. Bulldogs, though, keep this one in. Puck's bouncing in the corner. Bulldogs will pick it up. Ends up behind the Barrie net. In front, Paquette can't get to it. Carter Lowe's going to skate it out. Lowe reaches the blue line, takes the shot, deflected. Schneid goes after the loose puck. William Schneid towards the net. Leanders plays it, gives it to Cooper Dennis. Dennis flips this one in the air, near side. Paquette gets underneath it. Bats this one forward, picked up by Von Richter. Von Richter sends this one down the ice. Puck's bouncing. And now it's an icing call against the Barrie Colts. But what action here in the second period. We're now down to 8:19 remaining.
Keishon Aitchison wants an explanation on something, but you said it. What a period we've had so far. Brantford's starting to get some opportunities, and they got the top line out there, but it's not Luchenko, it's Banach with O'Brien and Van Acker right now.
So the face-off will come to the left to Ben Horebic. Jay Newton taking the draw for Barrie against Jake O'Brien. Scrambled draw. Colts trying to knock it free and ends up in the corner. O'Brien falls. Colts pick it up. Aitchison flips this one out to center. Knocked down by Danford. Dravetsky backtracking. Goes across to Danford. Up to Dravetsky. Reaches center ice. Across. Banach into the attacking zone. In the middle. Pass across. One-timer stopped by Horebic again. It's becoming all too common. Bulldogs back to the point. Danford fires that one wide. Von Richter. He'll pass this one around. After it is Aitchison. Aitchison trying to get a stick on it. Puck's in the corner. Bulldogs continue to put on the pressure. Back behind the net's Van Acker. Merrick Van Acker back to Dravetsky. Dravetsky comes off the blue line. He'll skate this one down low. Backhand to the net. That's kept out. Banach trying to wrap around. Dives for it. Near side one-timer. Horebic, he was down and out, but someone in front got in the way. There's O'Brien, and Von Richter's stick was in the lane. And that's going to go out of play as everybody for the Barrie Colts right now getting in those lanes and really trying to bail out Horebic.
Van Acker and Aitchison getting into it again there out front of the net. Van Acker's lucky because he just gave Aitchison a shot to the face, and they're going to let him get away with it though. Van Acker wants to get his stick, but it's right in front of the net, so the officials are trying to get it for him.
What a battle here tonight between the Colts and the Bulldogs. Both teams laying it out on the line as the winner tonight takes home the Bobby Orr Trophy as Eastern Conference champions and a date with the Kitchener Rangers for the OHL Championship. And right now we're waiting to drop the puck, but the referee's coming over to have a conversation with the timekeepers. Not sure what they'd be reviewing right now unless they're just trying to figure out how much time should be on the clock.
He's on the headset.
It's probably just wanting to figure out the time because they got 7:19 on the board. So that's a quick review. So we'll get play back underway. We'll see if they adjust the time. That's the only thing I can think of. It's got to be the time. But nothing changes, so we'll get this face-off to the left of Horebic. Ben Wilmot set to take the draw here for the Barrie Colts. He'll win this one back to the corner. Colts send it around. Hemming trying to chip it out. Loose puck. Bulldogs after it. Testa sends it behind the net. Collected, though, by Cole Emerton. Sebeski trying to get a stick on it. Stopped by Luchenko. Puck goes in the air. Luchenko reaches for it. Colts get it out and over the glass. And they're going to say it was deflected. So the Barrie Colts may have dodged a bullet there. Everyone in the stands, I think, was expecting a delay of game penalty there.
Well, they came close. And if it getting flashbacks to that Juracek one. See, there's a stick there. I mean, I can't see if it hits the puck, but there is a stick there.
From our vantage point on the replay at center ice, you can see a Bulldog player taking a swing as well. But at this point, no power plays for either team. And I almost get the sense it might stay that way.
It's going to be something egregious to, they didn't call anything on Passmore on that Luchenko breakaway, but that was the right call. Passmore played it cleanly in that first period.
Colts get it deep into the Brantford zone. Sandu comes out from behind the net, skated into Luchenko, stays with it. Danford through the neutral zone, drops it to Testa. Testa towards the net on his backhand, trying to tuck it around, that stays out. Zabeski pounces on it. Mason Zabeski, he'll skate it out, dumps this one down the ice, and goes off for a change. Sandu from the corner, takes his time, sends it up the wing. Gardner trying to get a stick on it, got away from Frasca. That's out to center ice, knocked down by Gardner. He's going to send it around the boards. Far side, Crombie. Crombie up ahead to Salandra. Joe Salandra comes out from the corner, back to the high slot. Backhand pass to Aitchison. Aitchison in front, deflected by Gardner, just wide. Malhotra gets this one out to center, but Passmore returns it to center. It doesn't go far. Now it's bouncing all the way back into the very end. Aitchison up ahead to Gardner. He's going to get it out to center ice. Danford takes a hit there from Crombie as he's able to get it deep. Passmore picks it up now for the Colts. Around the boards, they work it back behind the net. Crombie lost it there for a moment. Puck comes back to the point. Joe Salandra will get it out. Salandra flips this one deep into the Brantford zone. Juracek back behind the net. Up ahead, that's a turnover. Hanser fires, and that goes wide of the net. Carter Lowe keeps it at the point. He'll send this one around. Behind the goals, Jaden Newton. Newton has that one taken away by Juracek. Bulldogs can't get it out. Now they will. It's Malhotra skating it ahead. Caleb Malhotra on the wing. Passes it over. Lowe disrupted that pass. Lowe, he's just going to put this one down the ice. And they're going to wave off the icing. So Juracek has to come back to play it. Juracek back behind the net for Owen Protz. Up the wing. Van Acker, he'll dump this one in. Hanser back to pick it up here for the Colts. As O'Brien goes down, and we're going to get a penalty here. And I believe it's going to be for a high stick. As Jake O'Brien went down after Justin Hanser went to lift his stick. And we'll have to wait and see. Is it going to be a 4 or a 2?
Aitchison's not out. That was a late call as well. I think I saw 2 fingers, but that took a while for them to call it. And I think that's going to be the Colts' beef with it, is that the official maybe didn't even see it and just reacted to O'Brien being down, but we've yet to see a replay up here, so they're too busy doing the kicks cam. And they're interviewing someone, so
we'll have to wait and see if we can get a replay on it. But Justin Hanser right now in the penalty box. So the first power play of the game is going to be for the Brantford Bulldogs. Their power play right now operating at 34.7%, third best in the OHL. While the penalty kill for Barrie, it's been improving. It's now up to 73%.
O'Brien's on the officials. The officials have now skated away. He's trying to get the 4 called. Here's an angle.
Yeah, we're just seeing it now. Yeah, Hanser lifted his stick as O'Brien was going into the corner. But as you mentioned, it was a late call. It was the official all the way back in the Brantford zone that raised his arm. But we'll see what happens here. The Bulldogs a chance to tie it on the power play. 4:55 still to go in this second period. Face off to the right of Ben Horebic. Gardner's going to take the draw here against Luchenko. Face-off one by the Bulldogs. That's going to escape the zone. Juracek has to skate back after it. Gardner's on the forecheck. Juracek behind his own net. He's going to move this one ahead for Brantford. Gets to the blue line, drops it back to O'Brien. O'Brien keeps it away from Gardner. Passing this one over to Banach. Von Richter gets to it. Trying to send it ahead, knocked down by O'Brien. O'Brien in the corner loses it, and the Colts will get this one down the ice. Juracek back to pick it up now for Brantford. 1:26 left in the power play for the Bulldogs. Juracek loses it, and then Hemming goes down. Colts want a penalty, none coming. O'Brien into the attacking zone. Hemming puts on the pressure. O'Brien goes to Bannock on the near side. Adam Bannock back to the point. Trying to set things up, passes it down low. Malhotra goes behind the Barrie net. In front, blocked by Hemming, and the Colts will get it out. Leanders coming well out of his net to play it. Trying to catch the Colts at center ice. It's Malhotra now. Caleb Malhotra has it batted away by Aitchison. Back to the line, Juracek across. There's a shot. O'Brien, it's loose. It's in the blue paint. They jam at it as Malhotra was sitting there. Somehow that stayed out. That puck was just sitting all alone in the crease.
Well, that was a race for it here. Brian's shot stopped. It comes down. Malhotra fans on it. Aitchison goes after it. Malhotra goes down, and it deflects to Hrebeck, who's able to cover it. And then everyone's diving in. Man, oh man.
Oh boy. So Kayshawn Aitchison with the goal line save with Malhotra. It was kind of too tight for him to get a clean hold on it.
It was an awkward swing. He was like really tied up.
Yeah. Brantford coming oh so close to tying this game. They're still in the power play for another 47 seconds. 3:42 left in the period. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Back to the line. Here's O'Brien. Flips it up to Malhotra. Goes to an open point. Carter Lowe trying to get there, but it's kept in by Bannock. Bulldogs with possession. Here's Van Acker. His shot stopped by Hrebeck. Puck goes to the corner. Van Acker with it again here for Brantford. Drops it back to Bannock. Across to Juracek. Juracek, Bannock, one-timer! Stopped again by Hrebeck. As it's just a barrage of shots right now from the Bulldogs. But Hrebeck, he's standing tall.
Yeah, it's the top unit out there the entire time right now. And for Brantford there, Barrie gets a bit aggressive trying to get the clear. Von Richter comes up near the point, and then that kind of set up a partial 2-on-1. And smart play by Gardner, just gets in between Van Acker and O'Brien. Let Hrebeck be square to Van Acker for the shot, and he's able to make the save. Brantford's got about 10 guys on the ice right now.
Well, they're trying to make a late change here.
Now they're taking too many guys.
Yeah, it's just some confusion right now for Brantford. Juracek's going to go off.
So Malhotra and O'Brien stayed on.
Luchenko's there to take the face-off. Brantford wins it back to the point. Trevetsky over to O'Brien, back to Trevetsky. Trevetsky, near side, quick pass into the slot. Luchenko couldn't get a stick on it, and the Colts get it out. Trevetsky comes back to his own blue line, being pursued by Wilmot. That pass picked off by Hemming. Hemming's going to dump it in. Trevetsky in front of his own net as the penalty of the hands are about to expire. Bulldogs carry it in. Malhotra, he loses an edge, and the Colts get it to the line, but not out. Bulldogs putting on more pressure. Puck goes to the corner. O'Brien with possession for Brantford. Eliasson knocks that one away from him. Hemming after the bouncing puck. Along the far boards, Trevetsky at the point, keeps it in. Eliasson back behind his own net. Gets away from Luchenko, and the Colts, they're going to get this one out to center ice. Trevetsky from his own blue line. The pass blocked by Hemming, but second chance gets down the ice. Eliasson back to Aitchison. Kayshawn Aitchison up the wing. Hemming tried to get a stick on it, but that's going to be an icing call now against the Barrie Colts. 2:16 remaining here in the second.
Zabeski saying he's drew blood. I think the Colts wanted a high stick. You just called it on one side, so let's see if we get a discussion at all. Doesn't look like it.
Well, earlier in the season, we saw plenty of reviews.
We're going to get a discussion. This was reviewed all the time early in the year. And it happened like 2 games in a row for the Colts off of goals, and no one knew what to do with the...
Exactly. So the officials having a word.
And keep in mind, if this gets called, this is 4.
Well, it looks like Zabeski's showing that there's a cut. We haven't seen a replay of what happened. We're going to get one. Yep, they're going to go to the tablet. They're taking a look at this. So they're going to see if this is going to be a high stick against the Brantford Bulldogs.
I didn't see it happen, but I heard high stick, and then I turned, and like almost every high stick by Brantford this series, Mason Saveski was standing there, feeling his face.
Well, right now the linesman's trying to get the Bulldog player that should be in the penalty box. As they're trying to sort that out now too. So the two referees on the tablet. Still no replay. So not entirely sure where it happened, or
is that the neutral? Oh yeah, he got him
there
in the
we
face. Go. Nowhere near the play either.
So that's why we didn't notice
Testa.
it. That was behind the play. So Luca Testa now in the penalty box. Nothing on the board yet as the referees are taking a look. We'll have to wait and see. Is it going to be a 2 or a 4?
Well, I think it has to be the 4 because
if he drew blood
bleeding. Because that's the whole reason they're allowed to review it.
Yeah, because if you call the double minor, you can review it. So this is taking a little bit here with the officials at the timekeeper's bench. Our referees tonight are Jason Feist and Damian Fajera. But this is a pivotal moment in this hockey game. If the Colts get a power play late here, a chance to maybe extend the lead after Brantford was unsuccessful on their man advantage.
Yeah, another late period goal here would be so huge for Barrie, especially going into the third period, which is supposed to be the Barrie Colts period. Feist and Pagura, they're comfortable in this series. It was Feist in game 1 and 5, and then Pagura in game 3 and 6. So both sides have been part of a Bulldogs win, and both sides have been a part of a Colts win. So I think the referees are pretty fair towards both sides.
Well, I see April Jackson asking, what are the shots on goal? Well, we can tell you shots are 25-17 right now in favor of the Brantford Bulldogs. The lone goal scorer so far tonight is Kayshawn Aitchison for the Barrie Colts. He scored his 6th of the playoffs. That was back at the end of the first period. But it's been a back and forth second. Ben Horebic, I've lost count of how many stops he's made that have been game savers.
Oh, he's had some huge saves again tonight. NHL Central Scouting has Ben Horebic as the 31st ranked goaltender.
Well, with the amount of scouts here in the building, hopefully they've been jotting down some notes.
Well, even last year, it was like, yeah, this guy's going to be a late round draft pick. I remember Gene telling me, yeah, I've heard from people, they like this guy. He's going to go late rounds, and no one ever took him.
Well, he did attend camp, but
with the Hurricanes.
Yeah, it was the Hurricanes.
Hurricanes, and they did rookie camp with the Bruins. We're going to get a decision here.
Okay, so they're taking off the headset. Nothing on the board yet for the penalty.
Well, they didn't tell him to get out of the box. I think Figueroa just showed Passmore 4.
And Ben Danford, he does not look happy with this. He's trying to argue it. So it's going to be a power play for the Barrie Colts. They've got it on the board. It's a 4-minute double minor to Luca Testa, and you can hear the fans here. The referees in the stands, they don't agree with this one.
They're everywhere. They're up here. They're in the stands. Huge opportunity here for Barrie. If you can ever get a goal in the next 2 minutes, that power play would then carry over into the third period. And it's a power play that has struggled since Cole Baudouin went out of the lineup, but a huge opportunity here.
And this Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. The Barrie Colts power play in the playoffs operating at 36.8%. That's second best in the OHL. While the penalty kill for Brantford has been improving. It's at 83%, third best in the OHL. Bulldogs win the draw. Wilmot after it along the boards. Wilmot trying to move it. He's got Zachary Sandu holding the puck along the boards. Hemming comes in. Back to the blue line to Von Richter. Von Richter settles it down. Goes to Hemming. Emil Hemming back to Von Richter. Across to Aitchison. Aitchison at the point. Knocked away by O'Brien. He can't get it out. Hemming up to Lowe in the corner. Carter Lowe waits. Passes it back. Off Von Richter. Backhand pass. His shot stopped by Leenders as Ben Wilmot tried that tight angle chance, but what a clever little pass there from Carter Lowe.
Yeah, nice play by Lowe to get it to Von Richter, just waiting. Brantford player diving out, so he flips it through the middle. Von Richter gets tied up a bit and is able to spin it out to Wilmot, who just didn't really have the angle. Barrie nearly able to take advantage of Jake O'Brien's mistake there, and it's one of the very rare times that guy's going to make a mistake.
3:23 left to go in the power play, which will carry over into the third period if the Colts don't score.
Who's taking the face-off?
That's Kayshawn Aitchison. And he won the draw. It comes back to the point. Here's Wilmot to Hemming. Emil Hemming at the blue line, nearly lost it. Aitchison, one-timer. Danford was in the way. Lowe sends it around to Aitchison. Back to the line, Hemming. Hemming takes the shot, deflected. Leaders the save. That may have gone off Danford. Colts get to it. Ben Wilmot comes back to the point. Sends it back to Hemming. Aitchison takes the shot, blocked by Danford, but gets it right back. Aitchison shot, and Leanders the glove save. Yet both Carter Lowe and Ben Wilmot parked in front.
Nice job there by Leanders. Fighting through that pressure to make the save. Colts will make changes. Aitchison will stay on, and I think that's the second time this year Aitchison's taken a draw. I feel like I remember one at the Sadlin Arena earlier this year that set up a goal.
I was going to say, there's been at least one face-off that I recall.
He's won a face-off before, and I feel like that one set up a goal.
Well, this time it's Gardner taking the face-off. Sandu's going to get it to the line, but not out. Kept in by Crombie. Battle along the board, sent ahead, picked off by Dennis, but again, the Bulldogs can't get it out. Pass it to the head. Here's Aitchison. His shot, shoulder saved by Leanders. Puck's behind the net to Crombie. We're in the final minute of the second period. Gardner to Aitchison. Aitchison back to Emerton. His shot stop, rebound. Bulldogs will get it to the line and out. Malhotra shorthanded, 2-on-1. Malhotra takes the shot, stop, rebound. Dennis can't get to it. Colts take it back quickly. 35 seconds left in the period. Gardner to Crombie. Crombie had his stick lifted, sends it to the boards. Gardner's there for the Colts, sends it to an open wing. Aitchison back to the point. Takes the shot, Crombie deflects it, but that's gonna go wide. Crombie dumped by Protz, and Dennis will get it to the line and out. Malhotra, he'll skate in, he's going to Juracek, shorthanded, back to Malhotra, but diving across was Cole Emerton, or actually Parker Von Richter. And they're gonna call this a glove-to-head pass, but what a defensive play there.
You gotta be good to be lucky and lucky to be good, and the Bulldogs were pretty lucky a minute ago. Flubbed clearing attempt goes right to Malhotra. It actually sets up a 2-on-1, but the pass across, or Malhotra actually took the shot, save made, then Dennis goes down, and back the other way there. Emerton stumbles, or I think he may have just tried to dive out, didn't realize two players were coming. Juracek steps up into the play for the 2-on-1. Great dive by Parker Von Richter to negate the opportunity. Barrie, they'll be happy to just take a lead into the third. Uh-oh.
Here comes Luchenko, backhand, stopped by Hrebeck, trying to put it in front. 4 seconds left in the period, and we get the whistle as Jet Luchenko was prepared for the Colts to win the draw and got a lane to the net.
Perfect design play there by the Bulldogs. O'Brien and Wilmot on the draw, and it's just knocked forward, and Luchenko off to the races before Hemming can even realize. Now they'll have 2 seconds here.
And they're going to bring this face-off to the right of Ben Hrebeck. What an intense period of hockey this has been. Barrie right now holding on to that 1-0 lead. Everyone loading in front of Ben Hrebeck as Luchenko's going to take the draw against Brad Gardner. Face-off won by Gardner, and that will do it for the second period of play as the Barrie Colts still holding on to that 1-0 advantage. But the Brantford Bulldogs, they sure have made this a very entertaining hockey game.
It's been a tight one here tonight. And oh man, we are nowhere close to done. And for the Barrie Colts to get through the first 2 periods here with a lead, just so huge, and you got a minute 44 to work with.
Let me fix that
on the power play. Someone's a bit too superstitious over here. So
yeah, Gene didn't want to give up his spot.
This is the first time all year I've been to your left.
Sarnia.
Sarnia, never
Sarnia is
mind.
the only time you've been on the left.
It was weird, too.
That was really weird.
It's confusing.
But either way.
I keep looking at a wall to try and speak to you.
That's okay. It's going to be all right. But anyways, a very entertaining hockey game. Right now, Mason Zabeski and one of the Bulldog players having a conversation with the referee. Says the emotions in this game, they are high. Yep. And we've now seen a power play for both teams. Of course, the Colts power play will carry over into the third period. But this is now do or die for the Brantford Bulldogs to try and save their season as they're now down to the last 20 minutes.
Desperation's going to kick in and very quickly. And they only become more desperate if the Barrie Colts can capitalize on this power play. That's why it's so huge. The crowd was getting restless at some points there, but Brantford, they were able to put a couple shifts together and then get the crowd back into it.
So it's the second intermission. We do have a special interview coming up from Barrie today. We've got Peter Robinson who will be joining us. He made the trip as well to Brantford, so we'll get his take on this hockey game and talk a little bit more about the Barrie Colts and the rest of the OHL playoffs. So it's a 1-0 hockey game after 2 periods of play. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we do have that interview. So it is the second intermission between the Barrie Colts and the Brantford Bulldogs. Right now, Barrie up by a score of 1-0. And we like to have special guests on the broadcast in the second intermission. And today we're joined by Peter Robinson from Barrie today. And you made the trek down, so we saw that we had another Barrie media rep, and we wanted to get you on the air the first time.
Yeah, I don't know about special, but yeah, it's a special game for sure. So.
And what are your thoughts? We've been quite impressed. Ben Horevic, he has made some outstanding saves. It's been quite the game from him.
I mean, it continues, right? I mean, if you would have asked Barrie 6 days ago that they'd be in this position, I think the odds would be, what, 50-1 maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
And really, I mean, they've gotten some good performances from a few guys, but this has been about the goaltender, and it continues, so 20 more minutes to go.
Well, you've got the goaltending story, but then Cole Baudouin being out of the lineup, looking not too bad there as an assistant coach. A different look there, but he's being involved. He's communicating with the players and also helping the coaching staff.
Yeah, I just, I mean, injuries are part of the game, but it's just a bad break because if nothing else, it doesn't look like Brantford has any, or at least that we know of. So if they can pull this out without him, I mean, we all know what he's like, and in my opinion, he's the MVP of the league. And if Barrie leaves tonight with a win without Cole Baudouin, I mean, wow, who would have ever thought?
Well, that's just it. And I know in the chat, and even a few people around here, they're saying, hey, are the Barrie Colts going to be able to get a miracle tonight? And, you know, after 40 minutes of play, the Bulldogs, they've had a couple of great looks. They just can't get it across the line. That latest being Malhotra, who had it all alone in the blue paint.
Yeah, I would say there's probably been at least 8, maybe 10, and even a dozen times in the last 3 games where the Bulldogs have had an open net with no more than 2-3 feet between them and the goal line, and I don't think they've scored a single one.
No.
And including the one that you just described. And if this continues another 8-10 minutes in the third, you've got to start to think, well, maybe this is a bit of a Cinderella story or team of destiny. I don't know. I mean, it could go the other way. It's Game 7 and you're playing on the road, so, I mean, who knows? Junior hockey, we'll see.
Now, you were there covering the OHL's Eastern Conference Final last year when the Barrie Colts were up against the Oshawa Generals. A night and day difference, it seems, between that team and what we're seeing on the ice here tonight.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you said that, because I was thinking about that when the Colts came out, and it should be said, the Colts have played an excellent road game tonight. I mean, Brantford has the edge in play, but Barrie is playing the ideal road game for the playoffs. But I was wondering before tonight if, for all the talk of Bodwin and Hrebeck and all that kind of stuff, maybe some of the guys that they have from last year who went through what they did, losing so frankly badly to Oshawa, have learned and just don't want to have to go through that again. And I think maybe that's playing a role tonight.
Yeah, and there was a couple of games too against Oshawa last year that were pretty lopsided. And then the heartbreak in the triple overtime against the Generals. So this is a team that has that experience. And when you look at this Bulldogs team, they fell short in the second round of the playoffs last year, and they lost Nick Lardis, so they had their storyline as well. But it's these two teams that it seemed like throughout the year they were bound to go head-to-head and trying to make good on what happened last year.
But again, for it to be in Game 7, given the injury that now Barrie has to deal with, I mean, that's the storyline here, because you just said it. I mean, I wouldn't compare Brantford's team last year to the one they have this year, but it shows you when you lose your best player what happens, right? So, I mean, if Barrie pulls this out, that's going to be the story. But that's 1A. 1B is Brantford's going home, and that was not supposed to happen.
Oh, exactly. And for even to think that Barrie Colts, if they can hold on to this score, that's 3 wins out of 4 in this building. And this is one of the hardest rinks to play in if you're an opposing team.
And to be fair, the stretch you just described, they've probably been the better team for about half of that play. So it's not just a case, despite whatever happens between now and the end of the game, and I mean, who knows, it could go the other way. But Barrie has also played very well at times in this building, better than they have at Sadlon Arena.
And we were talking about that off the air when we were coming down here. It's like, it seems like a night and day difference between what we saw at the Sadlon Arena to what we see here in Brantford. Almost, if they kind of, like that underdog mentality, and they kind of embrace it here.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I wish I had a little bit better insight, other than the fact that if they do get through this game, they are going to need to be better at home in the league final.
Well, and it's going to be another tough opponent, too, because the Kitchener Rangers waiting after winning the Western Conference in 5 games. They've well rested, and game number 1 of that OHL final starts on Wednesday. So whoever wins this game here tonight, it's going to be a quick turnaround to get ready for that OHL final.
Which the quick turnaround probably also means that Cole Baudouin's probably going to be out, too. So, but, I mean, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here. 20 more minutes, and who knows, maybe extra time.
So we saw in that second period, Brantford was starting to pour it on late. Obviously, the Colts on the power play for another minute 44 when we start this third period. From your perspective, what do you see needs to get done here to try and get the win here for the Barrie Colts?
Well, I said it. I think the Colts are playing a good road game, but I would hope that they're a little harder on the puck in the third period. They're losing too many puck battles, I think, in both zones. And I think if they can keep this lead, you're probably going to see, probably not send any guy in really deep. So they really have to get to the puck quicker and just be opportunistic and just a wall around Hrebeck, really.
Oh, exactly. But we have about 9 minutes until we start the third period. But I wanted to thank you for coming on here. It's nice to see other Barrie media coming on the road. And maybe if we get to the final, we'll have to get you on again.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to. Thanks.
So that's Peter Robinson from Barrie today. We're going to take a quick break. But when we return, we will prepare for the third period between the Barrie Colts and the Brantford Bulldogs. So it's the second intermission between the Barrie Colts and the Brantford Bulldogs. Mike Poirier and Josh McCann with you. Just a few minutes away from the start of the third period, so we just wanted to open things up for the chats and just to see what is going on with everybody. And one thing that stood out, Braden Bell with the super of $13.99. He says that's the bribe for the mention at the end of last game. That was so funny. And if anyone is wondering what that's all about, we at the end of the game, we thanked the Rogers TV volunteers because in the OHL final, TSN takes over the broadcast. So all the volunteers and the local broadcasters, this is it. This is the end of the broadcast season for them. So we wanted to thank everybody, and we mentioned Braden by name yesterday.
Yeah, we made that mistake. Apparently it created quite a stir in the control room the other night, but Braden does a lot of work, so we give a lot of credit to him, and we were joking afterwards that our post-game dinner was on Braden, and now it is.
Now officially it's on Braden.
I gotta admit, I spent a bit more than $14 though the other night.
Well, my wife was there too, and I think the pretzel bites were around that price.
Yeah,
so maybe Braden bought my wife and I pretzel bites.
Maybe. I didn't. Braden, you still owe me $38.
Now, Matthew Holcomb, if Barrie wins, how long of a drive between Barrie and Kitchener? You're looking at about under 2 hours. And the nice thing about these remaining teams is the geography of how close everyone is. If it's Brantford-Kitchener, I do believe that would be the closest distance for an OHL final. Because Kitchener is just, what, 55 an hour? 45 minutes away from here. So, yeah, it's close geography, which is nice, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Barrie fans if the Colts advance to the final.
And you do that Barrie-Kitchener drive often, so you know a thing or two about it.
Yeah, because I got family in Kitchener. I grew up in that area, so I am quite familiar with Kitchener. And Richard answering the question, Colts fan also answering it. Alexander, Richard said, watch what you say there. We are superstitious. We're a superstitious fan base on here. He's referring to Peter Robinson. He mentioned the word that we usually don't like to talk about.
Uh-oh.
You know exactly the word.
There's many words we don't talk about. Which one?
You want me to say it?
The O?
Yes.
Oh, no.
He did say it.
Oh, no.
But
we're a superstitious broadcast as well.
We are a very superstitious broadcast.
we're sitting in seats because of superstition.
Exactly. Alexander, we love you, Barrie Colts. Let's go, Barrie Colts. A lot of emojis, piece of cake. Good evening, hockey fans. What's up?
That's what we will do with the $13.99. We will grab a piece of cake on the way home.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a piece of cake.
Whoa. Gene, we're grabbing cake on the way home.
He's not listening.
He doesn't care.
What's
new?
Now we got Braden saying, yes, it did, Josh, and Erica was jealous so much. Josh, I will get you a Froster.
Yes.
So that's a win.
That's a win.
So we are just a couple minutes now away from the start of the third period, and for this Barrie Colts team, they have the power play going into the third period, but at the end of the second, we saw that the Brantford Bulldogs putting on pressure, taking advantage of some loose pucks. But if the Colts are going to take this, they're going to have to, limit those opportunities for the Bulldogs offensively.
Yeah, Brantford can. They're going to push really hard here. They've got a message to the team on the. Okay then. Anyways, the Bulldogs are going to push pretty hard here in this period, no matter what. But especially if Barrie gets a 2-goal lead, they're going to be pushing hard for offense. We saw it the other night. Barrie was putting on a lot of pressure in that third period against Brantford down by 1. Expect a lot of the same from the Bulldogs here. Ben Horebic, he's been phenomenal. He's been the MVP the last 2 games. But Barrie needs one more period out of him here, and they may need it to be his best over the last 2 games.
Now for the Colts, with that power play opportunity, you have to take advantage of it, because if you give the Bulldogs any sort of momentum, that's where this game could shift very quickly, especially with how passionate the fan support is here tonight.
Yeah, it's a rowdy crowd as always, and that's what Barrie needs to control this game and get that early goal, because it takes the crowd out of it. Once Brantford starts getting opportunities, they're going to get life again. So for however long you can keep this crowd out of it, it's going to be so huge to keep this Colts team going.
So it is Luca Testa, the player in the penalty box. The 2 teams are on the ice. So we're going to get ready for this third period of play. It has been a very entertaining hockey game, and we know that the Bobby Orr Trophy will be introduced after regulation time. And for the Barrie Colts right now, they want to snap their drought when it comes to the OHL final. They haven't been to an OHL championship series since 2013, and that was against the London Knights. And a lot of Barrie Colts fans have always told me about how devastating of a series that was, and they want to make up for it. Well, Brantford trying to make their first trip back to the OHL final since 2022.
First time in Brantford as well, and both these teams have laid it all on the line throughout this series. Outside of game number 4, every game has been so tight, such a nail-biter. We predicted this coming into the series, and it's been everything we expected. And it's going to come down to the final 20 minutes.
So we're getting ready for the face-off here. Face-off, we'll see the Colts put out Ben Wilmot with Emil Hemming and Carter Lowe on the wing. And then Kayshawn Aitchison and Parker Von Richter on the point. While the Brantford Bulldogs going with Luchenko, O'Brien, Sandu, and Danford. As this third period underway. Or I thought it was. Now we're underway. They're always delaying these face-offs.
Ran for another time.
Yep, we'll save it. So the Colts forced deep in their own zone. Ben Wilmot goes to Emil Hemming. Hemming carries this one in. Cuts to the outside at the point. Hemming goes to Von Richter, doesn't take the shot. Now he will, and Leenders makes the save. Puck was loose. That was a quick whistle from the official.
It's one of those that maybe works out in Barrie's favor, in fact, because it may have gotten cleared all the way back down the other way.
So this power play down to 1:22 now for the Colts. No line changes here. So the same group will stay out on the ice. Face off to the right of Leenders. Face off won by Barrie. Von Richter at the point. Gives this one up to Hemming. Emil Hemming towards the net. Deflected. That goes wide of the goal. Colts have it down low. Wilmot behind the Brantford net. Backhand pass out to Hemming. Hemming. High slot. Shot. Scores! Emil Hemming! There was a screen in front, and Hemming takes advantage. And it's now a 2-0 hockey game.
Well, how about that? We said they needed that early goal, and Emil Hemming finds it. So huge for the Barrie Colts. They finished the first with a goal. They open the third with one. And they've now got a 2-0 lead in Game 7.
Emil Hemming, his 11th of the playoffs. He just took that shot right down the middle. I don't think Ryerson Leenders saw that one. And now they've just put on more pressure on this Brantford Bulldogs team.
We talked about Kayshawn Aitchison, how many minutes he's logged the last 2 games. Adam Juracek is not leaving the ice this period.
He's out there right now with Owen Protz. As I'm sure we're going to see some desperate hockey now from the Brantford Bulldogs. Puck's bouncing down the ice. That's going to be an icing call against Barrie. Salandra doesn't agree with it, but they're going to bring this one back.
Well, they're starting with the second line for Brantford. You got to expect O'Brien's line. It's going to be ready for a big push. You're probably going to see some stack lines as well. Maybe Malhotra gets a shift on the wing with O'Brien and Van Acker.
So Gardner is going to take the draw back in the Barrie zone. Gardner versus Caleb Malhotra. Aitchison on the near side as they wait to drop the puck. Face-off won by the Colts. Puck rolls to the net. Aitchison will take it from Hrebeck. Up ahead to Crombie. That'll escape the zone. Juracek has possession. That's knocked off his tape. Aitchison gets it down the ice. Chasing after it is Owen Protz. Protz in front of his own net. Up the wing. Malhotra gives that one up to Dennis, but he loses it. Justin Hanser puts it one off the glass. Gardner at center. He'll dump this one in. Puck goes to the corner. Protz. He'll leave it there in the corner. Bulldogs back to pick it up. Juracek sends it across. Paquette skates this one in. Paquette after it to the net. Stopped by Hrebeck. Ben Wilmot collects it now for the Colts. Up to Calvin Crombie. Crombie skates this one ahead on the wing. Back to Hemming. His shot stopped by Leenders, and Wilmot couldn't get to the rebound. Here's Von Richter. Up to Hemming, but that pass bounces over his stick. Hemming trying to get it back to the point. Bulldogs take it away. Paquette, he'll dump this one in. Puck rolls around. Justin Hanser's there to collect it now for the Colts. Hemming, he'll skate this one up. That pass off the skate of Banach. Hanser up ahead to Zabeski, sends it in. Wilmot gives chase. Wilmot from the far corner to the net. Zabeski couldn't get there in time. Bulldogs get this one out on the wing. Van Acker. That one's deflected. Dravetsky forced to peel back and send it into his own zone. Brantford will move it in. Banach inside his own blue line. His pass picked off by Wilmot. Wilmot sends it ahead to Hemming. Hemming drops it for Aitchison. Aitchison's pass. That goes off Angle and into the corner. Bulldogs chasing after it in their own zone. Edison Angle across. That pass picked off by Newton. Jaden Newton on the wing takes the shot. Stopped by Leenders. Just decides to put it on net to get a face-off in the Brantford zone. But this building has suddenly gone quiet.
It has gone silent in here, and that is exactly what the Colts need, and they need to run with it for a while. They're doing a good job right now. They're not giving Brantford too much, and there, another example of it. Jaden Newton just gets right in front of that puck, knocks it down, doesn't let Brantford get the stretch play going.
Face off to the left of Leenders. As Schneid will take the draw. Low trying to get a skate on it. Bulldogs pick it up. Schneid takes it away. He's taken into the boards. Bulldogs trying to play it. Low throws his weight around. Puck will escape the zone. At center is Eliasson. He'll send it to the net. Leenders guides it to the corner. Danford there to pick it up for Brantford. Up to Testa. Luca Testa in his own zone. Passes this one across. Angle up ahead. And that's Luchenko who can't get a stick on it. Eliasson's stick breaks. Colts trying to get it out. It's in the near corner. Emerton's there. Testa trying to move it around. Luchenko's got Lowe in a headlock. Takes his helmet off. Referee's just telling Lowe to get off the ice. Angle sends it across to Danford. Danford shot deflected wide. Puck goes to the corner. Crombie after it. He comes off the bench to replace Lowe. Puck's at the point. Newton will get it out. Puck bouncing in front of the Colts bench. There's sticks all over the ice right now and a helmet. It's like a yard sale. Cole Emerton, he'll send this one ahead. Gardner gets this one in the zone. Gardner now in a headlock by Protz. Referee's just telling them to play on. We're down to 16:23 to go in the third period. The Colts up 2-0. Emil Hemming, he was the recent goal scorer. That was here at the start of the third period on the power play as Malhotra skates it in, trying to cut to the middle, knocked away by Hanser. Justin Hanser trying to play the bouncing puck. Hanser with it, up to Crombie. Calvin Crombie skates this out to center. He's going to dump this one in. Puck goes to the corner. Protz is there to pick it up. Protz sends this one around. Salandra trying to get a stick on it. Protz, again, his pass disrupted by Wilmot. Malhotra picks it up for the Bulldogs. He's going to send it back to his defense. Protz chased out from behind the net from Wilmot. He'll skate this one forward. Protz gets to his own blue line at center, still with it. Now he'll pass it forward to Banach, who has to chase after it. Along the boards, Passmore trying to get a stick on it. Loose puck taken away by Hemming. Emil Hemming up ahead to Zabeski. Zabeski enters the zone on the wing, knocked away. Puck goes around the boards. It's back behind the Brantford net. Side of the goal, O'Brien loses it. Juracek up ahead to Van Acker. Merrick Van Acker passes this one up. Here's Banach on the wing, drops it back, but no one there for the Bulldogs. Sandu's going to backtrack to his own blue line. We're approaching the 5-minute mark now of the third period as O'Brien skates this one to the corner. Back to the point. Sandu shot deflected. That's going to go behind the Colts net. Jaden Newton collects it for Barrie. Up to Carter Lowe. Lowe trying to get it out to center. Puck's just bouncing. Newton after it. It's in his skates. Picked up by Lowe. He's going to carry this to the net. Carter Lowe. His shot scores! Carter Lowe! He picks off the corner, and he makes it a 3-0 hockey game.
Carter Lowe does it again. This third line has stepped up time after time over the last 3 games. And once again, Lowe gets an angle on Van Acker, goes back the other way, finding the back of the net. And once again, Barrie getting one step closer. Jay McKee just tore his team a new one on the bench. It's 15 minutes to go, still plenty of time. But the Colts now have a 3-goal lead in Game 7.
Carter Lowe, 6 goals now in the postseason. Remember, he had his helmet ripped off his head. He had the bucket and then was playing with a new helmet with just a visor, and he had the clear shot, puts it home. 14:41 left in the hockey game. And the arena is just stunned.
Clock's running.
Well, I think they fixed it. 14:42 remaining. 3-0 for the Barrie Colts. Testa tips this one deep into the Colts zone. Von Richter back to play it behind his own net. Von Richter to Gardner. Brad Gardner gets it out to center. Testa trying to send it in. Taken away there by Eliasson. Over to Crombie. Calvin Crombie. Far side. He's going to skate this one up off the boards. Down the ice it goes. Back behind the Brantford net. Ben Danford behind his own goal. He's going to send this one down the ice. Goes off on Richter. Frasca touches it. They're going to say he is offside. Fans don't like it, but Gabriel Frasca trying to play it, but that puck was just bouncing around. Looked like a volleyball.
Yeah, it's going everywhere. Shout out Josh Kotfa.
Yeah, he had to go to volleyball. He couldn't tune in.
7 to 8, so he may be on now.
Oh, or listening on his way home.
Yeah. Are you there, Josh?
If you're driving, please don't message.
Don't text and drive.
Save it until you get home.
We do not support texting and driving. We support driving and driving.
Yes.
Yes.
That should be a slogan. We support driving and driving.
We should get a sponsorship around like a car next year.
There we go. So we're down to 14 minutes remaining now in this third period. Barrie up 3-0. Carter Lowe, the latest goal scorer for Barrie, as that puck's going to come around in the Brantford zone. Paquette gets to it. Sends this one ahead. Malhotra loses it to Eliasson. Eliasson trying to send it forward. Goes off the skate of Lowe. It's at the Barrie blue line. Jaden Newton will send this one in. Hits the official. That would sting. Bulldogs move it ahead. That's deflected deep into the Barrie zone, into the near corner.
That was a rough experience for him.
There you go. I see what you did there.
You're welcome, as you would say.
Ben Wilmot skates it in, takes the shot, and Leanders the save. Thought about playing it, but holds on as we're starting to see some frustrations here from this Brantford Bulldogs team that is just seeing time slowly tick away.
This is where discipline is so critical on both sides. You can't be the one that gets stupid in front of the net. He takes a penalty that costs your team because it could give Brantford new life, or it could completely shut the door on the Bulldog season if they take one of their own. But Barrie, they're playing a Colts game. They're winning. We haven't seen this often because they've been trailing going into the third, but they just shut it down. Get their opportunities. They'll take them when they get them, but outside of that, just don't let Brantford get too much going.
Well, I love how animated Dylan Smoskowitz is on the bench right now, just trying to get the guys to keep doing what you're doing, because as soon as you lay off the gas, that's where
when they pounce.
Exactly. This is a Brantford Bulldogs team with a lot of firepower up front, and you don't want to give them that spark to get back into the hockey game.
This isn't round one against a 7 or 8 seed. You're playing 5 first-round NHL draft picks, a team with a ton of depth. All it takes is one, especially in their home rink, to get them going.
So Wilmot's tossed out of the face-off dot, so in steps Hemming. Face-off, won by the Bulldogs. That's going to bounce around in the corner. Brantford turns it over. Zabeski had a stick on it. Wilmot, side of the net. In front, no one there for Barrie. Banach up to O'Brien, knocked away by Zabeski. He'll get it back out to center. Knocked away by Hemming. O'Brien on the wing, hits the brakes. Puts this one over to Sandu. His shot stopped by Horebic. Puck's loose. Colts get to it, and they'll send it down the ice. Puck's bouncing. Aitchison's trying to beat out the icing, but couldn't get there in time as he had Danford right in front of him.
And Danford started pulling away there late. Good effort on both sides there by Aitchison and Danford. And offensive zone draw. Juracek will come out. Seems like that's the plan now for Brantford. Danford and Sandu will start in the defensive zone, but Juracek's going to get all the offensive zone draws.
So face off to the right of Horebic. Wilmot's going to take the draw against Caleb Malhotra. Face off won by the Bulldogs. At the point, Juracek sends this one forward, ends up in the corner. Zabeski after it. Malhotra takes it away. Paquette back to Malhotra. Wilmot trying to get a stick on it. Paquette stays on it. Puck's bouncing. Zabeski gave that one up to Wilmot. Wilmot sends this one out and down the ice. Zabeski gives chase. Protz will get to it first. Protz takes it around his own net, being chased by Zabeski. puck nearly taken away. Colts get it back to their own blue line. Hanser off the board. Salandra dumps this one in. Leenders comes out of his net to play it. He's going to leave it there for Owen Protz. 12:20 left to go in this hockey game. If you're just joining us, the Barrie Colts have put up 2 here in the third, as there's a shot on goal and Hrebeck makes the save. As the Bulldogs right now out shooting Barrie 30-27, but you're kind of wondering, when's that desperation going to start here for the Bulldogs?
Oh, it hasn't happened yet. Barrie's done a good job not letting them get too much started there, and that's another example of it. Cooper Dennis comes into the zone. He has no lane to the net. Hanser does a good job forcing him to the outside, and it's just throw him one at the net there. And Ben Hrebeck, he'll take that every day of the week.
Well, after the huge stops he made in the second period, it's been more calm in his own crease in this third, which is a little surprising. As the Colts will send this one around, ends up in the neutral zone. Drevetsky touched it, so no icing. That's going to go down the length of the ice. Drevetsky back behind his own net. He'll pass this one forward as the Bulldogs regroup. Ben Danford reaches center. He'll flip this one in the zone. Evan Passmore goes behind his own net. Sends it to the near side. Van Acker trying to get a stick on it. Puck's in the corner. Passmore again. Sends it around to an open wing. Danford tried to play it. Overskates it. Danford at the point and then lost the handle of it. Puck will escape the zone. Van Acker just slashed the stick out of the hand of Calvin Crombie. Play continues. Drevetsky in, but knocked away by Salandra down the ice. And now we're starting to hear some frustrations from the fans in the crowd. Banach skates this one in, trying to protect it. His shot on net. And Hrebeck makes the save. As this is really not what we expected. A 3-0 hockey game here in the third period, and right now the Bulldogs don't have much life.
Brantford's had the life taken out of them. I mean, they're just not coming.
And we're seeing some frustration, like Van Acker knocking the stick out of Crombie, and that's the last thing you want if you're the Brantford Bulldogs, is to take an undisciplined penalty when the game's not over yet. You got 11-18 still to play. Von Richter down the ice. Carter Lowe trying to get to the loose puck, but it got away from him. Leander sends it ahead. Frasca to the line and out. He'll skate it to center. Up to Juracek. Juracek takes the shot, but that's going to be offside. I think there were about 2 Bulldog players ahead of the play.
Just a bit sloppy again. The Bulldogs just haven't had it so far in this period, and you see Barrie again just forcing them to the outside, not letting them get to Ben Hrebeck, and the opportunities just haven't been there yet. And as of right now, Jay McKee's just sticking with the same lines, not really looking to switch things up here.
Colts send this one down the ice. Sandu gets in front of it. Zachary Sandu up the wing to Paquette. Charlie Paquette. He's going to skate this one ahead into the attacking zone. Paquette hits the brakes. Looks back to the point. Stays with it. Drops it now for Sandu. Gives it up to Dennis. Cooper Dennis takes the shot. Blocked by Wilmot. Juracek backhand, and he puts it over the net. Puck comes back to the point. Dennis to Malhotra. Malhotra takes the hit, and Zabeski's going to get it out to center. Sandu back into his own zone. He's going to weave and go back behind his own net as the Colts make another line change. Malhotra loses it. Von Richter returns to sender. Juracek back behind his own net. Gardner on the forecheck. Approaching the midway point of the third period. The Barrie Colts now 10 minutes away from advancing to their first OHL final since 2013. Joe Salandra, he'll skate this one in the zone. Salandra takes the shot, that goes wide of the net. Puck comes back to the point. Malhotra, he'll pick it up here for Brantford. Caleb Malhotra, that's knocked away from him. Emerton, he's able to get this one to the line, not out. Protz loses it to Emerton. Cole Emerton passes this one forward, deflected. Crombie catches up to it. Crombie between the legs, and that puck got away from him. Crombie into the near corner, has that knocked away by Danford. Danford up ahead, here's Van Acker. Van Acker hits the brakes. Merrick Van Acker, he's going to send it around the boards. Luchenko behind the Barrie net, passes it in front. Danford puts it through the blue paint. Bulldogs back to the line. Protz shot stopped by Hrebeck. Newton, he's able to chip this one forward, but it ends up on the Colts bench and out of play.
Well, that was the first bit of pressure we had seen from Brantford. That second line started getting it going, but then Malhotra just started trying to do everything by himself there a couple times, and the Colts quickly shut it down. They converge on him. You can't do it on your own, and if that starts happening, that's going to really get Brantford in trouble here.
Well, it kind of reminds me of game number 2. If you remember, the Colts in the third period took over, and suddenly it was the Bulldogs, everyone trying to do too much. And they're going to call a penalty here on Jaden Newton for a face-off violation as he put his hand on the puck off the draw. Looked like he was knocked down. He's arguing it. But the Brantford Bulldogs, with 9:11 left here in the third period, they're going to go on the man advantage.
Well, we'll see. Dylan Smoskowitz wants a word. I'm not sure if this is reviewable by any kind. I missed the replay.
I don't think you can review it. But the referee could have a conversation with the linesman and have a meeting of the minds to try and, determine, okay, was it in fact touched by the glove? But Jaden Newton, he fell on top of the puck, and when you do fall onto it, you're risking that face-off violation penalty every time.
Yeah, and they got it there, and with how quickly Patrick Sexton yelled at Dylan Smoskowitz, and Smoskowitz got down on the bench there, I'm guessing Barrie saw something on the replay that they weren't happy about the call, but new life for the Bulldogs.
So the Colts shorthanded now with Jaden Newton in the box. Brantford already 0 for 1 on the power play tonight as the Bulldogs move it around. Banach back to the point. Juracek sets up Banach. Juracek doesn't take the shot. Now he will. Stopped by Hrebic, and Gardner will get it out. So Brad Gardner relieves the pressure as that goes down the length of the ice. You almost have to wonder, with how much time's remaining, do the Bulldogs think about pulling the goaltender?
The old Patty Waugh strategy.
Exactly. Van Acker up ahead to O'Brien. O'Brien takes the hit from Von Richter at the point. Juracek, he'll flip this one in the air, ends up in the far corner. Aitchison after it, and he'll get it down the ice. Leanders, he'll leave it there for Juracek, as Juracek will skate this one up, drops it back. O'Brien to Malhotra. Malhotra skates it in, but he had his pocket picked by Hemming and sends it right back into the Brantford zone. Power play now down to 1:05 for Brantford. Juracek drops it back to Banach. Banach skates this one ahead, over to Malhotra. Malhotra on the wing, hits the brakes, sends it back to the line. Juracek shot wide of the net, behind the Barrie net. Banach trying to collect it. Von Richter finds it, he's going to send it down the ice. Ryerson Leanders comes out of his net to play it, long pass to O'Brien. Jake O'Brien looking over his shoulder as Bulldogs complete a line change, drops it back. There's the shot, side of the net. Banach trying to play it in front, stopped by Hrebic as Juracek came off the point right in front of the net. But again, Ben Hrebic stands tall.
That big play there by Juracek, getting loose down low. But Hrebic comes out of his crease, able to get in front of it. Barrie just needs to kill off another 33 seconds here, and that's back to work 5-on-5.
7:44 remaining here in this third period. Face-off coming to the right of Hrebic. Gardner will take the draw against Malhotra with Jaden Newton right now in the penalty box. Scrambled draw, and the Colts pounce on it and get it down the ice. Barrie doing a great job right now on the penalty kill, keeping things simple as O'Brien taking his time there at the blue line. That's knocked away by Von Richter. Banach will try the opposite wing. Banach, backhand pass, O'Brien, shot stopped by Hrebic. What a save as he came sliding across. 8 seconds left in the power play for Brantford. Jet Luchenko picks up momentum. Luchenko through the neutral zone, makes a move to the wing. Newton's out of the box. Here's Dennis, his shot blocked by Zabeski. Backhand pass in front, picked off by Eliasson. He's gonna get it out, and Zabeski, he's hobbling after blocking that shot point blank. Zabeski now just getting to the bench as the Bulldogs move it in. Luchenko drops it back to Dravetsky. Dravetsky shot stopped by Hrebic, and Salandra's gonna go for a skate. Joe Salandra on a breakaway, one-on-one Leanders, loses the handle, and Leanders guides it to the corner. Puck picked up again by Wilmot. Wilmot's gonna lose it, picked up by Frasca. Here's Charlie Paquette. He loses an edge trying to play it. Puck sent back. Here's Dravetsky. 6.5 minutes left to go in the third period. Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final. Merrick Van Acker towards the nets, and that's chipped over the goal by Banach. Protz keeps it down low. Banach with it, back to the line, picked up by O'Brien. Jake O'Brien, his shot goes over the net, bouncing into the far corner. Salandra trying to tie up the stick of O'Brien. Newton has it, sends it back to Emerton. Eliasson on the near side. He's going to take his time, sends it forward. Crombie gives chase, and that's going to be an icing call against the Barrie Colts. 5:58 remaining as the Colts becoming oh so close to winning the Bobby Orr Trophy.
Brantford, that push we were expecting is starting to come. The only question, was it too little, too late? We're going to find out in the next 6 minutes. The race for the exits has started to begin here in Brantford, which it almost feels shocking to say.
Well, with the buzz in the air, the atmosphere, it was electric. The fans were into it. Brantford, they were getting so many great chances, but it was Kayshawn Aitchison who opened the scoring back in the first period. That was a goal in the last couple of minutes. But Brantford just not able to solve Ben Horevic tonight. His shots now 37-27 in favor of the Bulldogs.
If Barrie can get this score to hold, I mean, this would be one of the most improbable comebacks in OHL history. Down 3-1 to a team with so much talent. Losing your captain and going on the road twice. Dylan Smoskowitz going to use a timeout.
Well, Ryerson Leanders is on the bench for the extra attacker, so Dylan Smoskowitz saw what the Bulldogs were putting out there, and he's calling everybody in. They want to drop the plan as Patrick Sexton's going to have everyone around. As this is starting to get into nail-biting territory.
Jay McKee's about to... I thought he was going to go on the ice.
Yeah, Jay McKee, he is hot under the collar right now. And he just slammed the door. McKee is yelling at the officials right now.
Well, the bench is losing it too. They got to be careful not taking unsportsmanlike penalty.
Yeah, Jay McKee, he is upset. I wonder if he's mad with when the timeout was called. But McKee is standing in the doorway.
Now Smoskowitz is getting told something.
Well, Dylan Smoskowitz, he's counting his fingers right now, so he's got a couple of points, I think, and he's just saying, okay, let's just play. Oh, man. Yeah, Jay McKee, he is upset. But Ryerson Leanders, he is on the bench.
I wonder if it has to do as well with, I think because Barrie was getting to change their guys maybe off the timeout, he wasn't too happy because now they've switched back to the guys that were on the ice.
It's like musical chairs out there. Well, we got it all sorted out. 5:58 left to go in this third period. Jaden Newton takes the draw. Eliasson gets to it. He'll send it down ice. Empty net. Crombie's trying to beat out the icing. He will. Puck's behind the Brantford net. Juracek takes Crombie into the net, or into the boards, however, and the Bulldogs will skate it up. Here's Jake O'Brien. He'll reach center ice. O'Brien enters the zone, sends this one deep back behind the Barrie net. Aitchison sends it around and down the ice, and that will be an icing call now against the Barrie Colts as that clock slowly ticking away.
That was only 25 seconds. Oh, man. I thought that was like a minute.
It felt like a minute.
Oh. Barrie just calm as can be, and Crombie, a great effort there. Barrie was able to get guys off the ice as well, so they are fresh here.
Face off won by the Bulldogs. Banach gets it off the draw. He'll skate it along the boards. Down low to Malhotra, back to Banach. From the far half boards, at the point, Juracek, back to Banach. Banach takes the shot, stop, rebound, puck's loose. Crombie gets to it, can't get it out. Banach to Juracek. Juracek fires into the crowd. That's blocked. Zabeski after it, trying to get it out of the zone. Kept in by Juracek. O'Brien sends it deep. Here's Van Acker in front, just wide of that far post by Luchenko. Banach sends it to the point, but Juracek wasn't there, and that's going to escape the zone. Under 5 minutes left to go here. Von Richter takes a shot at the empty net. It's rolling down the middle. And Von Richter finds the back of the net on the empty net goal. And that should just about do it, as it's now 4-0 for the Barrie Colts.
Well, how about that? The Barrie Colts look like they're about to close this out. Once again, finding a way. Dylan Smoskowitz has preached it all throughout the second half. The players have preached it all throughout the second half, that this group is more than just a team. They are a brotherhood, and they have proven that over the last couple of games, standing up for Cole Baudouin, who hasn't been able to play in 2.5 games. And this crowd and that bench in black and gold is stunned.
So we got 4:47 remaining. It's now 4-0 for the Barrie Colts. Parker Von Richter, the empty net goal, his second of the playoffs. As the Colts send it back into the Brantford zone, Leenders is back in the net. 4.5 minutes remaining. Bulldogs send it ahead. Dennis gets this one deep into the Colt zone. Hanser looks over his shoulder, sends it around. Far side, Dravetsky. Vladimir Dravetsky to Dennis, one-timer, that's gonna go over the net. Carter Lowe sends it to the line, not out. Dennis collects it. Dennis settles it down. Dravetsky back to Dennis, one-timer, and Hrebeck got a piece of it. Still ends up going wide of the net. Schneid blocks the shot, and that's gonna escape the zone. Here's Cooper Dennis in the neutral zone. Barrie making a line change. Dravetsky skates this one in. Backhand pass blocked by Eliasson. Hanser puts it off the glass and down the ice. And that's gonna roll deep. Icing waved off. Angle has to play it. Puck bounces. Weird play in front. Shot stopped by Leenders. As that was Brad Gardner, who was given a gift because of the board bounce here at the TD Civic Center. Now Crombie creates the turnover. Crombie's shot blocked. Loose puck. And the Bulldogs move it up. Here's Van Acker. Eric Van Acker up to Malhotra. That rolls to the net. And Hrebeck will cover it up. As Eliasson clearing the traffic as Van Acker was going right to Hrebeck.
Calvin Crombie getting right in there with words for Merrick Van Acker. Oh, there was a thing online last week after game number 4 that said Calvin Crombie was traded by the Bulldogs for a reason. Whatever that reason was, I think Barrie Colts fans are pretty grateful for it.
Well, he's been a factor here all night for this Barrie Colts team, and even in this whole series. And you got to factor in the emotions that he's probably feeling playing against his former team. They traded him at the start of the year to the Barrie Colts.
You saw it in game number 5, that effort from Crombie. I mean, you knew in that game that if it was up to Calvin Crombie, they would not be going home.
But that's where it's the brotherhood, like you said. They're playing for Cole Baudouin, who's injured. You're playing for Calvin Crombie, who is playing against his former team. And then you also have the overagers, who are in their final season in the OHL.
Well, graduates as well. You know, the top picks are gone. The guys going NCAA. This core is not going to be together next year. That's the truth. But they're going to make it 5-0.
Hemming puts it home, and it's now 5-0 for the Barrie Colts. As right now, one of the Bulldog players going after Keishon Aitchison.
Aitchison gave him a little love tap on the way down. The two of them still exchanging words, but Aitchison just says, you know what, it's 5-0.
So Emil Hemming, his second of the game. And, well, we've got the benefit of Howie Campbell sitting beside us in the press box, and we just got word.
We did just get word. Colts fans, stay tuned tonight for tickets for games 3 and 4.
And so games 3 and 4, that'll be Sunday night and Tuesday night, because it's every other night.
Yep. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday. Mem Cup starts that Thursday, and the OHL champion is opening night against Kelowna.
We're going to Kitchener on Wednesday.
We're going to Kitchener.
Oh, boy. So it's 5-0, 3:10 remaining. I don't think anybody predicted a 5-0 hockey game in this series as Ryder Bolton's on the ice right now. He took a run at Justin Hanser. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as Jay McKee decides to put out the fourth line, and now Bolton took a run at Desiderio.
They ran into each other.
So this is where you got to be careful. You don't want to deal with an injury or a suspension, especially going into the OHL final, as Cole Emerton has it deep in his own zone. Emerton takes a bump there from Tashurna, and then Bolton took a run at Edgar. Puck sent across. Right now, the fourth line taking out their frustrations on the Colts as McCormick picks it up. Jonah McCormick at center. He's just going to dump this one in. Around the boards it goes. 2:20 left to go here in this hockey game. Malhotra passing this one forward. That's going to be sent wide of the net. After it is Malhotra, stopped by Hrebeck. Newton's going to send it around. Paquette at the point, keeps it in. His shot goes wide of the net. Malhotra picks it up towards the net, trying that tight angle, but put it over the goal. Owen Protz at the point. That's blocked. Eliasson just wants to get it out of the zone. It's kept in at the point by Dravetsky. Dravetsky down to Paquette. Paquette back to the point. Protz, and he fires that one wide of the net. It's on the back of the goal, and we'll get the whistle. 1:41 now remaining.
Well, I think it kind of got a bit lost in this late in this game because of the outpour from the Colts this period, but Ben Hrebeck, this could have gone wrong in the second period, but some huge saves again from him. He was the MVP through the first two periods of this one, as well as all of last game. Brantford came so close multiple times, and Hrebeck slammed the door shut and is maybe the main reason the Barrie Colts are going to move on to the OHL Finals.
Well, shots are now 40-30 in favor of the Brantford Bulldogs, and if they don't do Ben Hrebeck as the first start tonight, that doesn't do justice.
Well, we'll have to see, of course, because they could end up doing the Brantford Overagers as well.
That's true. But man,
if they do that,
man,
we'll do our own 3 stars.
We could do that. So we're now down to a minute and a half as the celebrations getting ready. Puck goes to the net, stopped again by Hrebeck. McCormick still out there on the ice, tied up by Testa. He's going to get this one out to center. Dravetsky sends it forward. Passmore gets this to the neutral zone. Puck's flipped in the air. Goes off the helmet of Passmore. He had no idea where that was. Puck's going to go back into the Brantford zone. Dravetsky there to pick it up for the Bulldogs. Nearly picked off by Edgar. Here's Testa. Testa loses it. Bulldogs pick it up. We're in the final minute of the third period. The Barrie Colts up 5-0. 48 seconds away from winning the Bobby Orr Trophy as 2026 OHL Eastern Conference champions. Hanser's just standing behind his own net, letting his teammates make a change. Clock's now 33 seconds. The Colts bench, they are ready to celebrate. They are standing on their feet. Colts just keep it back in their own zone. Eliasson's having words with O'Brien as they're just going to let the clock run out. The Barrie Colts, they have booked their ticket to the OHL Championship and will face the Kitchener Rangers starting Wednesday night at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. 3 seconds, and that will do it. The Barrie Colts have won the Eastern Conference Championship. This team has been remarkable. They were down 3-1 in this best-of-7 series. Cole Beaudoin goes down with injury. But this team, they dug deep. They found a way.
What was that word? They found a way?
They found a way. But my, oh my, this has been an incredible run for the Barrie Colts. And now the question becomes, do you touch the Bobby Orr Trophy?
Oh. I touched it earlier this week.
Of course you did.
I'm the reason. Man, what a finish to this conference finals. Kayshawn Aitchison said it. First question I asked him, last time we were here for game number 5. He said, we have no doubt for a second that the Barrie Colts are still winning the Eastern Conference Finals and winning the Bobby Orr Trophy, and they just did it tonight.
I hope I'm allowed to do this. But here,
who cares?
Everyone's tuning in. There's your live look at the Barrie Colts celebrating the 2026 OHL Eastern Conference Championship. Everyone out on the ice celebrating. You got all your social media employees out there as well. But what a ride it has been. They come into Brantford and they won 3 out of 4 games on the road in one of the toughest
markets. Look at Eliason lifting Spotsquits up. I didn't want to say it after 2 periods because I didn't want to be part of a jinx or anything. Gabriel Eliason had a great game tonight. He was disciplined and he was amazing in the defensive zone tonight for this Barrie Colts team.
Well, even the whole series, he really limited his penalties. Yep. He played a very disciplined game, stayed out of the penalty box when they needed to, not take those undisciplined calls and give Brantford an opportunity to get into the game.
6 penalty minutes all series.
That's just outstanding. And to think, last year they were swept in the Eastern Conference Final against the Oshawa Generals. And at that point, you just felt like this team was ready to take that next step with the core that came back. They made some additions, big trades. You look at Mason Zabeski, Parker Von Richter from the Brampton Steelheads, Ben Wilmot from the London Knights at the trade deadline, and have really paid off in spades here as they will represent the Eastern Conference at the OHL Championship.
I mean, it's honestly stunning. I mean, Brantford, they were the top dogs all season long. And, after game number 2, we said it. Did the Barrie Colts just become the favorites? And then they came back and they struggled on home ice. And they're down 3-1. And part of you wants to say they were still in it. But deep down that this Brantford team, they hadn't lost 3 straight games all season long. And Barrie comes in here, and all it started with was that Game 5 effort, because if they could ever get it back home and then force it to 7 for a one-off matchup, and they got through Game 5. Baudouin gets hurt, though, and you're thinking, there's no way, right? They come home, they give up 60 shots. They still find a way. And then here tonight, I mean, one of the better efforts we've seen in this series for them, considering the circumstances on the road without Cole Baudouin. And they found a way.
Well, right now doing the traditional handshake at center ice, as it was a battle. We came into this series and we expected it's going to go at least 6 games, if not 7, with just how tight the season series was between these 2 teams. And we were not disappointed. What a series this was.
First series to go 7 games as well. I mean, man. And this is it for both these groups, because next year, a lot of these guys are gone on both sides. This is the run for both sides. And in the end, it's the Barrie Colts that came out on top. There were some people back in December talking about Brantford, talking about Ottawa. Barrie kind of got underlooked at some points, but they believed in themselves. They came together. They believe they are truly the tightest group in the OHL, and they've continued to prove it here.
Well, the turning point in the season for the Barrie Colts was that game in December in Ottawa. Because the question was, do the Barrie Colts sell or do they buy? And it was the game in Ottawa where they put on a dominating performance and won that game in the nation's capital and sent the message to the organization, this is a team that can compete. And I know there was some people coming into this series that were like, well, there's no way the Colts can keep up with the Brantford Bulldogs. And when they were down 3-1, a lot of people counted them out. But now they've won 3 straight, 2 of those wins here on the road, and now they're Eastern Conference champions.
I didn't have them going 3-1 on the road on my bingo card.
Neither did I.
I thought, I'm honest, I'll be honest, I did think Barrie was going to win. I said it before the series started. For some reason, I had a good feeling, but I didn't have them going 3-1 in the Madhouse. This was the best home team in the regular season, taking on the best road team, and the best road team came through in the end. And it just shows, I mean, in Game 5 and in Game 7 here, we were talking about coming in, man, this place is going to be rocking. It's going to be an insane atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. And all the Colts players, they just didn't care. They're like, you know what, who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't get to us. And they proved that here throughout this last couple games, that it didn't get to them at all. And they found a way to push through. And one of the more underrated things that aren't talked about is that, you know, they didn't come into here in Game 5 off a tough, tight 1-0 loss where it's like, hey, we lost a couple games, but we were in it. They got smoked in Game 4, 6-1. A lesser team would have been out of it. We saw it last year. They got run out of the building in Game 2 at the Sadlin Arena, and they had nothing coming back against Oshawa in Game 3 and 4. This year, though, they certainly had it.
So right now they're handing out all the Eastern Conference Championship hats to all the players and staff, and now we're just waiting for the arrival of the Bobby Orr Trophy to be presented at center ice. As you can see on your screen, the celebrations that are going on right now. The Brantford Bulldogs staying on the ice. They're down at their own end. They've all taken a knee. As the fans right now saluting their team with the Let's Go Bulldogs chant. But what a season it was for the Brantford Bulldogs. That start, 23-game unbeaten streak, they were dominating. And, you know, they were the favorite coming into this year, and they executed it. It's just coming here at the end, just falling short in game number 7. As the Bobby Orr Trophy now on the ice, as they get ready to present the trophy, the question is, do they pick up the trophy?
I don't believe Kitchener touched it.
They did not touch it.
They did not touch it.
So Kayshawn Aitchison and Cole Bodwin will go and take the photo at center ice with the Bobby Orr Trophy. As Cole Bodwin subbing in as an assistant coach. And Dylan Smoskowitz saying he's been doing an amazing job. And now Kayshawn Aitchison calling over the rest of his team to take that group photo at center ice with the trophy. They're keeping their distance. If you're tuning in, you can see the celebration. They are staying away from that trophy. And this is the best, getting that team photo.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to touch the trophy because of superstitions, but it's still a cool moment to be able to take that picture as a team to celebrate your accomplishments, as you can't take that away. They are the 2026 OHL Eastern Conference champions.
And to think this started, Calvin Crombie was honest about it in his interview today, saying, I asked him, did you think this is where you'd be in May? And he said, you know what? We had a lot of question marks coming into this year. I did not know what the future looked like, but the cards went Barrie's way. They got everyone back. And how about Dylan Smoskowitz? I mean, he has been an excellent head coach in his first year with the team. He never let them give up, and they spoke about it even early in the season that they never gave up, and he led the way for this team, and here they are now as Eastern Conference champions.
But what a run it's been this season for the Barrie Colts. As we wrap up this broadcast, I gotta turn the camera around. So how about we put it on the third period score? So there you go. There's your final, 5-0. Let me reposition the laptop as you talk amongst yourselves.
Hi, guys.
Well done, everyone.
Well done. Great
There
work.
we go. I've adjusted the camera so we can be on here as the Colts celebrate the championship. They've got their hats, and there you go.
And you know, this group, they embrace that enemy side of things. They're a hard-hitting physical team, which sometimes gets them dirty claims by some fans, and they embrace that enemy thing. So, you know, as nice as it is to win on home ice in front of your fans, this is a group that's certainly okay with taking it in front of the road crowd.
And right now I'm just trying to get to
I got them.
You got them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well here. Let me do this. And I'm gonna put up the 3 stars because we have to thank our sponsors, because we wouldn't be able to do these road broadcasts without our sponsor. So our 3 stars presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgian Communities, new homes minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm.
3rd star of the game, overager Zachary Sandu for the Brantford Bulldogs, came over in a trade from the Oshawa Generals earlier this year. A really solid player on the back end. I mean, that's a guy that gave the Colts some nightmares over the last couple of years.
And
you want me to keep going?
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't know if you were going to.
You said you
I didn't know if you were going to add an opinion. You usually go to me for an opinion on it.
I'm sorry, I'm not used to this way.
I also did just see
left.
the players don't want to touch the trophy, so Morgan was the one to haul it off.
Oh.
Second star of the game, the other overager for the Brantford Bulldogs, Charlie Paquette, another guy that came over in a trade from the Guelph Storm. Coming into the year, he had never won a playoff round. But this year, a really good effort for Paquette. He was one of the best players in games 3 and 4 for the Bulldogs, the main reason they were up 3-1. Now, the Brantford Bulldogs only have 2 overagers. First star of the game, 40 save performance, Ben Horebic. What a night for him.
That's, I think, an honorable thing to do, especially with the performance that he had tonight. And I'm noticing in the chat, the big question, will you be covering the championship series on the channel? Well, I hope you're ready to go to KW.
We're going to Kitchener, and then we're coming back to Barrie.
Now, someone did point out, Colts fan says, I think TSN takes over the broadcast for OHL Final. They do, but we are right now talking with the OHL to have the broadcasts here on the channel for both the home and the away games. So once we have confirmation, we will announce that. We're hoping to get confirmation before the game on Sunday in Barrie. So this has been a wild ride, and we're not done yet. We get to go to Kitchener, and it's going to be the Rangers versus the Barrie Colts for the OHL Final. And the next step, will they be able to book their ticket to Kelowna for the 2026 Memorial Cup?
It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, should be a pretty good series. I mean, Barrie proved over these last 3 games they're more than just a Cole Baudouin team. They can stick with it. And I think the big thing to watch is going to be in net. Ben Horebic versus Christian Kirsch. Kirsch, he has his good moments, but he also has his uh-oh moments. And if Barrie can take advantage of that with a goalie like Ben Horebic, could get interesting.
So the next time you see us, we will be at the Odd, as we're going to be going to Kitchener for Game 1 of the OHL Championship. Puck drop, I believe, is at 7 o'clock, so we'll have the live stream up and running at 6:45. Hopefully you've enjoyed the broadcast so far this season. I know we've been having a lot of fun.
It's been so much fun.
I can't believe our first broadcast season, we're going all the way to the OHL Final.
It's funny how it works out. We joked about it early. We joked about it early in the year. Oh, we're going to go to Kelowna and blah, blah, blah. And
well, we're also talking about logistics. It's like, okay, if they do go that far.
Move the 1, add the 2. And as well, I mean, we joked about it early in the year as well about how, you know, if they could ever just go on a deep run, the viewership would pick up. And shout out to everyone that's watched the stream throughout this series. I mean, tonight was a game that was free for everyone to watch on YouTube, on Flow Hockey, and you guys still came out, and that means a lot to us.
Yeah, you guys are incredible, and we appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, and we will talk to you from Kitchener on Wednesday. For Josh McCann and Gene Pereira, I'm Mike Poirier saying so long as the Barrie Colts Eastern Conference champions with a 5-0 final over the Brantford Bulldogs.